Welcome, 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 welcome. Wow, this is a lot that's going on right now. I am just rising, just washed my face, got the thumbnail together, and we are getting ready to watch The Plainest Jane. She's covering the she's covering the she's covering this right now at this moment. It's live. And so she's going to read all of the court documents and we're going to watch. We're going to get up, get in the house, get in the building, come on in. There's a lot to discuss about Sean Puffy Combs, Sean P. Diddy Combs, Cassie Ventura, King Cudi. There's a lot that's happening. So while we are waiting for the text to go out, good morning, y'all. Good morning. We're going to be getting ready. So as you all are getting ready for work this morning, we're going to be watching this. I'm going to be getting ready, getting my skincare routine together, getting ready to work out. Right now it is 6:42 a.m. on the East Coast. We're just going to get our screens together. So while you all are coming in, come on in. Good morning. Good morning. The sun is going to rise with us on this broadcast. So come on in. This right here, I am disturbed. I'm disturbed. Let's go ahead and get this from so listen, I'm hearing that there is a hold on, let me get into my YouTube studio. King Cudi is a rapper. Look, you're going to hear about it. His car was blown up. His reps are saying that the car was blown up because apparently there was something going on with Cassie and King Cudi, and P. Diddy was like, oh, I'm going to blow up the car. Next thing you know, the car was blown up. And so there's a lot going on. So good morning. Good morning. I'm just going to get the thumbnail updated. So as you all are coming in, continue to get ready for them in the morning. Continue to get your stuff together because we're going to be here for a minute. We're going to be here for a minute. So welcome. I'm your host, Tonya TKO. Like I said, we're just getting on. So don't worry, you haven't missed anything yet. I'm just getting the thumbnail updated. And so there's a lot that's going on. Cassie is suing him for $30 million. There's also a criminal case that New York has against him. So we're going to hear more about that. We are going to be watching The Plainest Jane. So support her channel. The link is in the description of this. Did I spell it wrong in the description? I thought I spelled it right. So welcome, welcome, welcome. This is going to be a heavy topic. So trigger warning. Oh my goodness. I just personally, I feel like this age of Aquarius is really bringing a lot out into the open. Yeah, I spelled it right, King Cudi. Is that not how it's pronounced? All right, I spelled it correctly. All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. Here we go. So, let's get this up on the, here we go. So this is The Plainest Jane right here. I started watching this video and I said, why watch it alone when we can watch it together? She's very thorough, so support her channel. She's going to be reading the documents. We're just getting in here. Let me check and see if the text has gone out. Text has gone out, so let's go ahead and get live on every platform. All right. We are live on Twitch. We're live on Twitter. We're live on Facebook. We're live on LinkedIn. And of course, we are live on YouTube. All right. So welcome, 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 welcome. Today we're going to be watching The Plainest Jane. She is covering this story live as we speak. So I said, why watch alone when we can watch together and just get this out of the way one time? I'm your host, Tonya TKO. And we're going to be, look, there's a lot to go over. I'm just trying to get the thumbnail up right now. There's a lot to go over. There's a lot to cover. So we're going to be here. So as you're getting ready, don't worry, I got you. We're going to be watching this together. I see some people already saying and hello. And so welcome, welcome, welcome. We're live on every platform. So let's go ahead and get into this piece by piece. So what is happening right now is this is the age of Aquarius. A lot of people are being, let me get my lights and stuff on. Right. All right, welcome, welcome. So, as the description and the title of the video says, we are talking about Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Cassie, the allegations of trafficking, abuse. There's a $30 million lawsuit that she filed saying that he did all types of crazy things. I haven't read the documents myself. Last night, I heard about the story breaking. I spoke with some people behind the scenes to get verification of the story. The story is real and legitimate. The court documents are out. CBS News reports that there's a $30 million lawsuit that's going on. So let's jump into this without further ado. Welcome, welcome. I am your host, Tonya TKO. On this channel, we talk about self-love. There are a lot of self-love lessons in here. I help women learn to love themselves after relationship trauma. And there's a lot of relationship trauma that exists in this. How does a woman as beautiful, as conventionally beautiful, a preference like Cassie, how does she get caught up in a boondoggle like this? And we've been talking about abuse lately on this show, and it happens slowly. First, your esteem is deteriorated, and then things start to get introduced, and before you know it, she was saying that she was addicted to all types of substances, that he got her addicted, that he was opening up the ways for many different people to do many different things to her. So yes, it is early, so let's go ahead and get into this story. So if you all are ready, I am ready. So if you're looking for a space and an environment to be with like-minded people, you can join the text notification squad. We have a community behind the scenes where we communicate and broadcast with one another. And I'm also coming up with other ways that I can be of help and assistance to you all at all different levels and stages of readiness. All right, so if you all are ready, let's just go ahead and jump right in.
So, listen, y'all know things are always sticky in Hollywood and in real life. And this one is heavy. This one is heavy. I'm going to get right into it. I'm sure all of us have heard by now. You might not have all the details, but baby, we're going to go through it all today. Cassie is an R&B singer from the 99s and the 2000s. And at one point, she was signed to Diddy's Bad Boy Records, right? She was signed to him. And she's filing a lawsuit against him. They were in a relationship at one point as well. They've since broken up. She's went off, gotten married, and had her babies. And she's filing a $30 million lawsuit against him. And there is so much that we need to get over, okay, that we need to go over. So read the title, read the thumbnail, but that's not even half of the information. So we're going to be going through all of the court documents from start to finish. Y'all know how I do. I'm extremely thorough, and especially when it comes to court documents and court cases. This is a 35-page document that we're going to go over, but I want to give you a trigger warning to begin with. I owe you that. I have to give you a trigger warning because this stuff right here, baby, it's pretty insane. Okay. So, for starters, I have never seen court documents with a trigger warning on them. And I'm going to get into showing you the court documents. We're going to get to that in just a moment. As you can see, we're right here in the court documents. And there's a trigger warning on the court documents themselves. Okay. There's a trigger warning on that. Do I sound good? Is the audio and everything good?
You
Let me know
sound
if I
good,
sound great. Okay. Put
Jane.
a one in the chat if the audio and everything sounds okay.
Sound good, girl.
So we need to go over this stuff. And we're going to break it down. I'm going to give you a timeline. We're going to go through all of the accounts of what other people have said leading up into this over the course of basically 3 decades, dealing with
Mm.
Sean Puffy Combs, P. Diddy, Brother Love, whatever you want to call them. We're going over this stuff. You all deserve it. And I'm just grateful. I've missed you all so much. I hope that y'all are having an amazing week. Baby, this week in the news media has been, I'm just giving y'all time to load onto the bus. Um, this week has been crazy in the media. I do have some thoughts on Keke Palmer, absolutely. And I'll get to that maybe sometime tomorrow or well later today. It's Friday. And I know, listen, the bus is late. If you follow me on Twitter, you saw I posted yesterday that the bus will be pulling off. Baby, the bus was late pulling off. Why? Child, I had to Carisha, it's not safe. So I had to swing Kelly trial, right? I might come on late. I might come on at 11. And good morning. I know it's super early. It's literally 10 of 5 over here in Baltimore. And I'm the subject of a secret criminal investigation per the NYPD, the New York Police Department. It is unclear if the criminal investigation that he is the subject of per the New York Police Department is specifically related to Cassie, but the NYPD has released information saying that he is at the center of a case. So we're going to get into both the civil and the criminal aspect of everything that P. Diddy is going through right now, pertaining to his misconduct, right? Also, we're going to be going over some grape allegations. Take the G off. Y'all know what I'm saying. We in the first couple minutes of the video. You got to keep it clean. Male prosties, male sex workers, sex trafficking, all up and through this paperwork. HIPAA violations are in here as well. Extreme physical abuse leading to black eyes, other intense and savage beatings, self-harm ideations, threats, blowing up cars, and the confirmation of blown up cars. Shout out to Kid Cudi for coming up and speaking up. Also, there are allegations from Cassie stating that Sean Combs introduced her to a lifestyle of excessive substance abuse and illicit prescription addictions to satisfy Diddy's own addictions. In other words, keeping her so zooted and booted and out of it so that he could manipulate, abuse, control, and do other egregious things, right? All sorts of psychological abuse, immense traumas, emotional distress, lifelong harm are outlined within these allegations. We also, in this video, are going to get into Diddy's response to all of these allegations via his attorney. Okay. Like I said earlier, we're going to get into lots of backstory, the timeline that has been scattered all around the internet. That's
I
really
want
what I did was I put it
I want you all to see something. I just want you to take a look at her at Cassie in this picture, right?
together,
Um
and a lot of people are coming together. Everybody
I want you to just take a look at she's in this lovely dress. They look like they're at the Met or some amazing beautiful place. I just want you to keep in mind that these relationships that you're seeing on social media, all that glitters is not gold. You know, there are a bunch of men who are coming around talking about how, you know, they want younger women and they want this and they want that, who they think is better. These women are not getting a prize. Men who behave like that, listen, you're a danger. You think it's an insult that, listen, your quote unquote rejection is our protection. We don't want you, and we're trying to save other women. So stop it.
everybody's coming out with their stories. Okay. I mean, a lot of people are speaking out right now, and I've got it all lined up, really helping to put the pieces to Diddy and his pattern of manipulative and abusive behavior together over the years from several other women and people in general, not just women. Okay. So everybody can't be lying on Diddy. It's been decades he's been getting away with whatever he wants to get away with, from sexual misconduct to the rumors and suspicions of him having things to do with either Tupac, Biggie, both. And there's
Mm.
so much more that we're going to get into. All right. So this paperwork is shocking. It's disgusting. It's triggering. But listen, we're going to get into it. You know, quick side note, when I saw that there was a trigger warning on this paperwork, I said, you know, this paperwork was filed in New York City. And I myself have never seen a trigger warning on court paperwork before. Right. And I've also consulted
Well, if this is going to be in New York, then you know we got to be down there at the trial. You know we got to be there.
with a few different lawyers, attorneys that I know, and they've never seen it either. And the most senior one that I've seen is an attorney who has been in the practice for 12 years, and they have never seen a trigger warning on court paperwork either. So you know this stuff is egregious. But one thing I gotta say is, if Cassie and these things, because of course I've skimmed over all of this stuff, if Cassie can get a trigger warning on her paperwork and her experiences, why didn't R. Kelly have a trigger warning on his paperwork?
Probably a new
Because that
tactic.
stuff was equally egregious. Not to play oppression or abuse or trauma Olympics, but I've covered that case years in a row. If Cassie can get one for her abuse, they definitely should have one. So that's just something
Was was the R. Kelly case in New York? I thought it was in a different state.
I've been wondering about. And even the attorneys that I speak with behind the scenes, they're also kind of stumped on what determines this, and how do you determine what court documents get a trigger warning based on how shocking and surprising they are, and which pieces of paperwork don't. Really, really interesting. So that's just something that I was thinking about. Let me know what you all are thinking about it down below in the chat. But listen, we're going to go ahead and get ready to pull this bus off. Be sure to hit thumbs up, have a seat on the bus. Shout out to everybody in the live chat. Shout out to all my channel members. There was somebody who joined the membership or rejoined the membership. Shout out to Andrea Elizabeth. Shout out to you, everybody, right? Including you, Mr. Combs, Sean, Puffy, P. Diddy, Pop. All things stated in this video are alleged, and according to reports, these are merely allegations. He has not been charged with anything yet, but we're going to go over the paperwork and what is alleged to have happened at the hands of P. Diddy, Columbia, Epic Records, Bad Boy Records are stated to have been complicit in this case. So we're merely going over allegations. All of this stuff is alleged, okay? I ain't got.
This is the vitamin E serum that is going to be available as soon as it is available. Text notification squad, pay attention. You're going to get a link to pre-order when it is time to pre-order. So don't worry, you all will be first, and then we'll go from there.
4 million. I ain't got 2 million, baby. I ain't got half or a quarter million to be giving nobody. All right. So again, be sure to subscribe, thumbs up or down. Either way, I appreciate it. But don't forget to think critically and independently, regardless of what you get from me or anybody else. Okay. So let's go ahead and get ready for takeoff, shall we? The following video is broadcasting live, and thank you for being my studio audience. Thank you for hitting thumbs up and subscribing to my channel for more Black
really
news,
like
celebrity entertainment, and splash of controversy. It's Theraflu. It's Therafluent. Hot. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the criminal aspect. Let's get that out the way first, right? Because a lot of people are focused on the civil aspect, because the criminal part of whatever Diddy is going through, again, just to be clear, we're not sure if this criminal case is necessarily related to Diddy or not, but isn't it interesting that the day that we find out that there's something civil going on, that there's something criminal going on connected to some of the same problems? So, think what you want, hypothesize however you please. But let's get into the criminal aspect of this situation. All right.
I think she meant not related to Cassie.
Get my screen a little bigger, and we're going to go over what is being reported per the New York Police Department. Okay. We're going to go ahead and go over that. So, good morning. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Wake up. Are y'all ready for the weekend? Okay. So he's the subject of a New York Police Department criminal investigation that apparently involves sexual assault. All right. So he is the subject of a secret investigation, although it's unclear if it's Cassie who made the criminal complaint, but there is strong evidence that involves sexual assault. So law enforcement is basically saying that there's an open case with Sean Combs. It's an active case, but the case file has been quote unquote locked, essentially meaning that it's a sensitive case where access is restricted. And so per reported, Cassie has filed an explosive federal lawsuit which alleges great human trafficking, among other accusations. Okay. So the NYPD is saying in a quote, we take sexual assault and rape cases extremely seriously, and we urge anyone who has been a victim to file a police report so that we can perform a comprehensive investigation and offer support and services to survivors. It was seen based on the statement, not only is this a sexual assault case, but the NYPD is actively looking for other alleged victims. And so we contacted TMZ contacted other law enforcement in numerous jurisdictions that Cassie mentioned in her complaint in court in Miami, including Miami, Beverly Hills, Los Angeles. And they got the same reply. No police report has been filed that pertains to Cassie or Diddy, and no investigation has been launched. Now, there was a 2016 case that came up, and the Beverly Hills cops were called after a breakup argument of some sort between Diddy and Cassie, and a domestic incident report was taken, but there was no legal action that was followed. Okay. And so Cassie claimed everything from rape, assault, battery, even human trafficking. This is all after Diddy forced her to have intercourse with male prostitutes across state lines. That is where we get into the trafficking aspect of this, because that could rise to a federal crime. It was also checked out with federal law enforcement sources, including the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Southern District of New York, as well as the FBI on both fronts. There was nothing. And so P. Diddy's lawyer has come out strong, calling BS on Cassie's lawsuit, saying that most of her claims will be barred from criminal prosecution based on the statute of limitations. Her great claim, however, could still be pursued in California. So time will tell if she files a criminal complaint there. Okay. So this is going to be 2016 case. The year 2016 is extremely important because the statute of limitations is 7 in New York for criminal is 7 years. For civil, it's 20 years in New York. So anything from November the 16th, 2016 could still technically be taken up via the criminal statute of limitations. So it's going to be interesting to see as we go through this paperwork and if anything else emerges while we dig into this story, if we'll find anything from 2016. So that is basically where we are with the criminal aspect of it. We really don't know a whole bunch. They're keeping everything close to their chest, I guess, just to keep the investigation safe. We know Diddy is famous for making evidence, claims of his misconduct, and even people disappear. So,
ooh, I didn't know about the people disappearing. And this is the TKO Skin Vegan Makeup. We are going to be raffling off an entire $2,000 worth of makeup this winter. So stay tuned for that as well.
I think it makes sense for them to keep the public out of it so that he can't go clean up exactly whatever they're sniffing around, if you catch my drift. One question that I want you all to ask yourself as you continue to watch this video, as we go through all of these things, do you think, sounds like the chickens are coming home to roost for Diddy. He has been surrounded by a plethora of controversy and wrongdoing for decades. Do you think, this is a question of the day and probably the question of the weekend, do you think that Diddy's career or his reputation will be able to recover from this whole scandal, this whole thing that's going on? I really want to know what you think down below. I'm curious. It seems that he has so much money that he's able to.
I mean, he's a black man in America being accused of something by a woman. He'll recover. It's going to take a man to come out and accuse him in order for a man people respect, not a feminine man, a masculine man, or a masculine man to stand up for Cassie. But the way that we do things in this country and in our community, please.
Pay people off and make people change their stories after they come out and they make claims against him. So, that's just something that I've been wondering. So let's move on to the next part of what I want to go over with you all regarding this, the timeline and what people have claimed about him over the years before we get to the court documents. I'm so sorry if I sound sick. It's because I kind of sort of am. All right. So, but I decided I'm going to come on here and give my stickies what they deserve. Okay. So Cassie warned an ex-girlfriend. She warned an ex-girlfriend about his behavior and basically told her, listen, stay away from this dude. This is not what you want. And it seems like the lady didn't listen. Let's take a listen to this account. Now, mind you, this isn't a new account. This is something that was dished 5 years ago. Okay. 5 years ago. I remember when this came out because I was watching this the day that it aired. Again, I don't think that everybody's lying on Diddy when it comes to this, but let's take a look. And please be sure to hit the thumbs up button if you're just getting in, and don't forget to subscribe. All right.
You actually met him when he was with Cassie.
Yeah.
So could you explain to me how this came to be and what made you stay even though he was with Cassie? What was he telling you?
When I first met Puff, I did not find him I didn't like him like that.
Okay.
Eventually, he grew on me.
And you knew about Cassie?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, did Cassie know about you? Is the question.
She did. She knew about me 4 months into the relationship.
Okay. And how did you find out about that, Cassie knowing about you?
Because she reached out to me.
Oh, she did?
Mm-hmm.
What did she say?
Basically, she just said to just leave him alone.
Okay.
But she reached out to me a few times after that, and she was never nasty to me. She didn't call me names or nothing. She was always nice. I don't know if it was fake or not, but she was always nice.
Okay. What was your response to Cassie?
She told me, like, the last time I spoke to her, which was like a couple years ago, she told me, she was like, she called me at like 4 a.m. and was like, hey, I just had a dream and I just wanted to call you and tell you that I don't hate you, I don't have bad blood towards you or anything like that. He had caught me texting another man. We was in Miami. It got really crazy that time. We was upstairs and he had like, we were in his closet and he like pushed me and I fell to the ground and then he like stood over me. So I was like laying on my back and he stood over me and he started like punching me like this. Like he avoided my face, but he like started punching me like on the side of my head and I was just like covering my face. And then after he got done doing that, he like stomped on my stomach like really hard and I like took the wind out of my breath. I couldn't breathe and he kept hitting me and I was like pleading to him like, can you stop? I can't breathe. And he like stopped for a little bit. He like grabbed my hair from the back and like was like punching the back of my head because he was just avoiding my face when he was like hitting me.
So Cassie definitely tried to warn his new woman. And I mean, honestly, when you look at Cassie and you look at this woman here in this interview, you can see Diddy has a bit of a type. Every person, you might have a type, you know, obviously Carisha doesn't necessarily look like Cassie and this woman, but it's clear that at some point he has an attraction to women who look this way, right? And one thing that I really want to reiterate is one of our biggest assets as women is taking advice from other women who have, quote, been there, done that. We've all heard that terminology before, right? And so especially if they've been burnt by the stove already, right? You don't always have to touch a stove in order to know that it's hot. So if there's another woman who touched the hot stove and they got the scars or they're telling you about the whatever, we can take advice from other women. But sometimes we feel the need to want to prove them wrong. Like, oh no, you know, and listen, it has nothing to do with age. Wisdom comes from a lot of different places, but some women can see things that you haven't seen yet. And some women have experienced things that you haven't and things that you might not even know yet that you do not want to experience. And so it is really important that we as women, that we try our best to listen to women who have not only been burnt by a certain type of behavior.
Somebody said that Black women should be happy. They are not a preference. Girl, listen. The type of person who hates himself to the degree that he does not want a person who shares his pheno type, right? The type of person who hates himself and is looking for somebody who looks like his oppressor or has more features like the oppressor, they not right. The foundation is not right. So how can they be right to anybody else? But thank you for pointing that out. Because these women are getting to behave, they think that they're coming up, but anybody who feels that way doesn't have nothing good for you. Think about it.
You're a certain type of guy, but the actual specific guy himself is the same. It's not like the same make and model with a stove. This is the same stove. Men and other romantic relationships, crushes, or people you flirt with, or people that you find attractive in whatever way, they can cloud your judgment. They can cloud your judgment. Right. And I'm speaking to women. I know it can happen to men, but I'm speaking to women right now. At the end of the day, women, we are all we got. Have you seen the people who are trying to discredit Kiki and make her out to be the aggressor in this situation? A lot of men, some women, right? Misogyny can come from anywhere. Doesn't matter how you identify. OK, you've got some people who are joking about Cassie in this situation already. Women, ladies, we are all we have. Black women, we are all we have. And all of us at some point should have heard the quote by now: the most disrespected person in America is the Black woman. So shout out to Cassie for trying to give this girl a heads up. She does look a lot like that woman that Carisha has been competing with over the time. I'm unsure if this is the same woman, but you know, it happens. Okay. So now I want to get into something that I found to be extremely, extremely eerie. Okay. 160 people here, 80 thumbs up. Can we please show the video some love? Pay your fare. I'm not asking you to open your wallet, okay?
Yeah, thumbs
just
up
pay
the
your
video,
fare and hit the thumbs up video. Y'all remember Kim Porter, right?
Here.
Let's get into
on Facebook,
that. Let's get into this. This is really eerie. Listen close.
Thumbs up
Listen
the video,
close.
Share it, because we're going to be listening to all of the documents. So
this is so like crazy. I am being shown.
Yes, I saw this. Listen to this psychic. Who is somebody just mentioned Kim Porter? Listen to this psychic.
November of 2023. So her death date was November 15th of 2018. But I'm being shown November.
Now, ain't that something? Her death date was November 15th.
Girl.
This news, these documents and everything came out on November 16th. Yesterday. Let's just keep watching.
Of 2023. I don't think we're done with this. I feel she's shaking her head yes. Before she stare at me, then she wait, and now she's shaking her head yes. I am being shown that things are being prepared. She is showing me a trumpet. People are standing straight up, and there are people going to speak, not just about what happened to her, about other things. Something is unraveling. For some reason, she...
Bullets on your wrist for playing giant.
So, listen, whether you're esoterical or not, this psychic, and listen, myself personally, I'm leery of psychics, but it's just interesting because this video was from 5 months ago. And this psychic, so-called psychic, channeled Kim Porter, who was Diddy's baby's mother, after she passed and got messages from Kim's energy, she claims, that things would start to unravel with P. Diddy in November of this year. I just found it to be interesting. I'm not saying it's a nail in the coffin. This can't be used in court. We all have common sense, most of us, right? But this is just really interesting. This is why I continue to ask, do y'all think his career is going to recover? Because there's so much happening around him right now. And outside of this woman claiming to have had some sort of contact with Kim Porter's spirit, there are people who are still alive who are uniting and speaking up and out about him all at once right now. There are 4 more people we need to get into who are... 4 or 5 more instances of people who are still here, who are speaking out about how controlling, how manipulative, and how nasty Diddy has been over the decades. It was just something I found to be interesting, and it was just like a puzzle piece that fell into place. Could be mere coincidence. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. All right. So now I want to get into put it in the chat if y'all remember Al B. Shore and the things that he was trying to say as it pertained to his close friend. Kim Porter. Okay. So let's get into this. All right. Okay. So this Twitter user points out, but when Al B. Shore was saying something happened to Kim Porter, nobody wanted to listen then. And he got sick suddenly. Y'all should have listened. They rekindled before she passed. Now, a lot of people were suspicious of Kim Porter's death. She was healthy. She suddenly got pneumonia and just passed. And, word on the curb has been that she was about to do a tell-all book. Now, if she's doing a tell-all book and she's dealt with the manipulation and the abuse and the narcissistic ways of P. Diddy, wouldn't you think that some of what she experienced would be in that book? And all of a sudden, she's just gone? And I mean, people still think, but they think about, his potential or alleged affiliation with Pac or Biggie or both. Right? So peep this. So Al B. Shore indirectly alleges that Kim Porter may have been unalived, intentionally unalived.
What?
So father of Kim Porter's son, Quincy, may have some other theories about his ex-wife's death. He claimed that the time leading up to her death, she was, quote, running from someone or something, and that he had told her, right? Let me zoom in here. He claimed that in the time leading up to her death, she was, quote unquote, running from someone or something, and that he had told her. And so he recounted in a now deleted Instagram caption to the FBI. Okay. Only later did he instead insist that she was running a marathon instead of running from someone or something. So he was pressured to change his statement and his intuition and how he just felt like something just wasn't clean within this whole ordeal. Something seemed dirty. There seemed to have been foul play here. And it appears that he had been pressured to change his story. Oh, no, she wasn't running from someone or something. She was running a marathon. Okay.
Running a marathon, all right.
Isn't that interesting, right? Oh, let me see. They say this is a bless you. You okay? Okay.
Ciao.
The same psychic that said that Kim was poisoned through her nasal spray. Wow. Interesting.
What?
This thing with Diddy is very layered. He's done a lot of dirt over the years. And it seems like it's catching up to him. That's just what it seems like. I don't know. Who am I? So let's get into the next thing. All right. There's this story that young Jock has been telling for the longest time. Okay. And he's told this story on more than one occasion.
Oh, about Cassie's hair.
And it's
about when it was shaved. Yes.
Do y'all remember when Cassie went through this thing where half of her head was shaved?
Yes.
Well, some of you may have heard the story, but for those of you who haven't, let's get into how that came about according to the account of young Jock, who was in their, you know, they were having a party, and it was Jock and his wife and Diddy and Cassie.
So you
and some
see,
party that they were at.
A heterosexual man is about to say this. Will people listen and believe now? I bet they will. So this is the story about when Cassie had first come out with that shaved head and how it came about. Ooh.
And how this all came about. Let's take a listen. Drop some pancakes in the chat for this exclusive breakdown from none other than Jane, the plainest Jane. And don't forget to hit thumbs up on the video, okay?
He was in that man's house and he saw that man's wife and was like this. I was watching Puff. Nigga Puff was looking up there. He saw this white woman. It was bottles on bottles on bottles around her. It was lit. Puff jumped out. Me and Cassie sitting next to each other. My wife right here, Cassie right here. And then he jumped off the bar, came on and said, yo, Cassie, tomorrow, I want you to shave the side of your head. And I was like, what the fuck kind of request is that? Like, so when I'm like, what the fuck? So when I look up there, this white woman side of her head was shaved, my nigga. And the bitch looked good with it. So I was looking at Cassie, I was like, well, I was like, you're not about to do that, are you? She said, well, I mean, whatever Sean wants, I'm gonna do. I was like, well, you make sure you send me a picture before you do that shit. So within like 2-3 days, she sent me a picture. I'm like, she done shaved her motherfucking head. I'm like, that shit look good. When that shit hit the internet, boom.
She started a whole trend, man.
A whole trend, and I watched it happen.
She started a whole
so
trend.
I got so many moments and stories in time like this, bro, I can go on for days.
Rolex on your wrist for plain Jane.
Is that not strange? Is that not strange? Now, I was doing some research earlier today. This story broke at like 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time over here on the East Coast. Shout out to Baltimore, shout out to Maryland, okay?
Shout
the
out to
story
New
broke around
York.
6 o'clock. So I've just been researching ever since, formatting. And when we get into this paperwork, Cassie filed this paperwork right on time. When I say right on time, she filed it right on time. And in my research, I think it's in the documents. She was very timid. She was meek. She, kind of like just had this like anxiety about her. She was shy. And I think Diddy got off on putting her in, uncomfortable situations. And as a matter of fact, he thought her shyness was quote unquote cute. Right. And so she was willing to do anything to succeed. She never had a big time shot when she was performing somewhere at a smaller venue when Diddy found and approached her. So I find it very easy to believe that he manipulated her. And if you go back and watch the
Hey, Jane is in the house. I guess she just got off her live. Throw up your pancakes for Jane. Thank you for this excellent reporting, girl, as we getting ready for work and working out and our days off and getting ready to run errands. Welcome, girl. Welcome.
Me and You video by Cassie. It's me and you. Now, I can't sing. I've been waiting. Think I want to make that move. Now, go back and watch that video. She's so timid, but she was trying to break out of her shell. She was clearly extremely shy at that time. And that was like one of her first, mainstream hits while he was trying to mold her into, I don't think we had a Rihanna yet, but he was trying to mold her into something, make her the next megastar, because I guess he felt like she had to look. But Cassie's no Sierra, but I still do like her singles that have done well, right? She was very timid. She was very timid. And so it's just unfortunate. Diddy is a predator, in my opinion. He preyed on people.
Allegedly.
Like that. He wouldn't have done that to no damn Lauryn Hill or, some Kaya or some outs.
Lauryn Hill's life is a hot dumpster fire of a mess. Please, let's not get into the Marley that she was with and how, oh Lord, how he wreaked havoc on her life. So let's not, She is not the poster child for functional behavioral relationships. I remember when I was in Tokyo, I was living there at the time, and Lauryn Hill came out. She did a concert where she was breaking down on the stage, doggone crying. People were like, what the H is this? So no. She just wasn't the preference, but she was done dirty by a man who had a biracial father. Yes, Bob Marley was biracial, wasn't he?
Spoken woman. You know what I mean? But that's just what I think. Like I tell you.
So these light-skinned demons, for those who listen, we need to do a reaction video to what's going on out here in these streets. Hey, the pancakes in the house.
Think critically and independently and comment down below and let me know what you all think in the chat. Or if you're chasing the bus, let me know down below in the hard comments. All right. Now, let's get into our next thing. Okay. Well, before we get to our next thing, I just want to say what I noticed within this story is
I think she was with Rohan Marley, and didn't he pump like 5 babies into her, wouldn't marry her, and then the moment that, because remember, I know what we have to do. You let go, and I let go too, because no one's hurt me more than you, and no one ever will. You remember that? No matter how, listen, you know the lyrics. No matter how I try to something, you know it, right? So, and then after he finished with her, ravaging her womb, baby after baby after baby, her life in chaos. Remember when she was coming on stage with clown makeup on and the whole Ringling Brothers and that thing around her neck with the circles of blush on her cheeks, and she was a hot old mess. Then he left her and then married a white woman. So come on. No.
It seemed like Diddy was trying to build this dream woman, or build this woman that he wanted, or that he could manipulate based on 100% colonized preference, right? Don't even like get me started. Because of course, Cassie she's got an exotic look. She's racially ambiguous. But it seems like Diddy didn't really like Cassie. He liked what he could make her do, and who he could and how he had control over her and who he could turn her into, right? So it's kind of, I don't know, was he in a Barbie
Diddy
workshop,
like
just trying to
himself.
create this woman? And the irony of it is she did finally build up the nerve to leave, and now she's married to who was his personal in-house trainer. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. So now we're going to get into Danity Kane, how Danity Kane gets back into the story. I would bring Making the Band into this, but I don't want to get a copyright strike for bringing up some of the footage and what he put the guys from Making the Band through. But I do have some recent things from Danity Kane. Shout out to all of the people from the 90s and the 2000s who actually know who Danity Kane is. Okay.
Child, send it to me. I'll play it. I ain't worried about these copyrights over here, girl. I be fighting for my life behind the scenes with them on a regular. So send it. I'll play it.
So it seems they're kind of standing in solidarity. One of them I'm kind of shocked, especially because of the timing. Now, when it comes to Aubrey, I'm not at all surprised, because she's always spoke out. She has always spoke out when it came to Diddy and how he mistreats them. Always. Always. All right. Somebody said Jennifer Lopez got out quick. Absolutely. Absolutely. So Aubrey says, I've been trying to tell y'all for years, prayers up for this queen at Cassie. And she had a lot more to say, but that's pretty much the gist of it that she put in her Instagram stories. Dawn says, praying for Cassie and her family for peace and healing. You are beautiful and brave with a heart. I just found the timing to be interesting, but I'm still very proud of it because I find it commendable, should I say, because Diddy just released an album, like a month or so ago, and Dawn Richards was on it. She was on that latest album. Like, Diddy had her on the album, right? It's a bag, it's visibility, it's an opportunity, it's whatever, even though Dawn is beyond talented. Not that she needs a handout, right? But, to have just been on this man's album and to speak up in solidarity and to wish prayers to Cassie, commendable. Shout out to her, honestly. Okay? Honestly, shout out to her. Very nice. So I want to get into just the fear that Diddy is used to, instilling into anybody he has ever had an association or work relationship with. He's very skilled, unfortunately, in misusing and abusing his power.
You know what? Let me tell you something. I had a chance you all know I have my degree in media arts, and as a result, there's a lot of internships I had to do. So I was at a record company, right, doing some work at this record company, and it was the same label under which Bad Boy was under, right? And let me tell you, I don't even know if I should say this or not, but I'll say it anyway. I'll say it because this is what happened with us, right? Yo, we all work in this building together. I don't know if I should say this. I don't know if I should say it. Nonetheless, I was in an elevator with, he was known as Puffy at the time. I was in an elevator with him. And we were in, should I say it? Okay. I'll say it. So he had representatives that would, enter into the elevator first to tell people that they needed to turn around to face the back of the elevator when he got on. And I'm from New York. I was an intern. Look, what was going to happen to me? I was not down with that shit right there. And I just, you can act like, look, I act like I don't hear, and I just do what it is that I need to do because you ain't gonna humiliate me like So
in this way. Take a listen and tell me what you get from this clip. Okay. Tell me what you get from this.
You keep mentioning Diddy. I wanted to ask you about I just saw the whole thing with Bad Boy. He gave the rights back to a lot of Bad Boy artists. Any comment?
Yeah, I'll talk about this. We only get the amounts due since Sony bought our catalog.
Okay.
So streaming for the past couple years, it's about $800, $900, some in the hundreds, okay? And in order to get that, I have to release him for any claims or wrongdoings or actions prior to the date of the release. I have to sign an NDA.
If you were to sign that NDA, would then that prohibit you from taking a deal where it's like to get a show?
people are saying they would have left the elevator. Let me tell you, it was a big building with a lot of floors. And I don't know if you know about like big cities like New York and how long it takes for an elevator to come. I wasn't getting off the elevator and I wasn't turning to the back of the elevator either. It's like, you don't have to get on, but what you gonna do? You gonna rough us up and make us turn to the back? Well, now that we hear what we hear, but no, I wasn't doing that. I needed to get where I needed to get. We all work in this building. Stop this. So yeah, I'm not gonna say nothing else. Let me just mind my.
They brought back Jersey Shore. They brought back Laguna Beach. Making the Band is the only one that they did not bring back. And Making the Band is the only cult MTV show that made that network, one of them, that they have never played in one rerun. Not one rerun. So I'd like to know why, and if it has something to do with Diddy. And there's so many paychecks. I offered girls, I called all of them. I offered some of the girls, hey, if you need $800-900, I'll give it to you. Don't sign this. This is just a way to get you to never be able to publicly speak about what we have experienced. And to my knowledge, allegedly, there's only 2 of us from Vanity Kane that did not sign this deal.
Rolex on your wrist, a plain giant.
Yeah, so there was more she said, but she was kind of, I don't, the 10-minute clip is kind of like she was, that was the most important thing from that clip that I wanted to pull out. And you got to wonder, why did Diddy just turn around all of a sudden and say, hey, you can, let me give you your publishing. It's been all these years.
But you know what? I'll say this. If he would instruct a bunch of strangers who work in the same building as he to face the back of the damn elevator, imagine, you know what? As a matter of fact, I'm going to contact an associate, an old friend of mine who used to work at the label. Let me see if I could get some inside information. Let me do that.
From Mace to Making the Band to Danity Kane and everybody else has an issue with Diddy's pay structure and how controlling it is and how it either backs him in a corner, places him in a box, and leaves him with limited to no options. And all of a sudden, he's nominated for an award. Now, I feel like he kind of sensed that some of these legal issues will be coming down the pipeline. And now he just kind of wants to look like this, like he's had this come to Jesus moment and he wants to do the right thing. And what their payouts are is not even $1,000. It's not even $1,000. So from the outside looking into, people who don't understand the industry and the back end of this, they're like, oh, look at him. He's softening up as he gets old with age. He's actually turned into a nice guy. He's trying to pull the wool over your eyes and trick you into thinking that he is this upstanding guy that isn't such a Mitch or a BAN, that he was back when he had people walking across bridges for cheesecake. He had these men from Making a Band singing over beds. Who want the bed? Y'all need to sing. Y'all need to sing. I mean, just cruel and unusual. Everybody's claims of him are similar in one way, shape, or form, whether they're men or women. All the way up to Mace. and everybody's lying? I don't think so. But that's that. What are y'all's thoughts so far? What are y'all thoughts? Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Tamika Thin, Eric Boykins. Hey, Tamara. Well, shout out to everybody. I wish I could speak to everybody in the chat, but like I said, I don't want this video to be excruciatingly long. So, now before we get into the documents, because we got 35 pages that we need to read. Okay. Before we get into the documents, I want to let you know why Cassie's timing is of interest, and I think it was pretty much like right on time, as I stated earlier. So there's such thing as the Adult Survivor Act, right? It's called the Adult Survivors Act. And of course, there is a statute of limitations with both civil and criminal proceedings, and it varies from state to state depending on where you're located and where you're filing and or where the alleged incidents took place. And so when we get to talking about the this Adult Survivors Act, the deadline for this, for her to file this, was going to be November the 23rd, which is about what, 5-6 days from now? 5-6 days from now. So just in a nick of time, okay? Only a week before there was an exemption for the statute of limitations that expires next week, essentially. So she got it in. She had all this paperwork already done. And I think it was determined last year on November 24th that y'all have one more year, if there's anything that has happened within New York state legislation, to go ahead and get this in, because after November 23rd of this year, or November 23rd or 4th, you won't be able to file anymore. Okay. So she got this paperwork in a nick of time. Okay. Also, Jane, another girl was dating Diddy too at that time. Yeah, it does not surprise me. Why does that not surprise me? Don't forget how case went public a day after anniversary. Yeah. So, yeah, some sites I'm seeing the 23rd, some I'm seeing the 24th, but you get the drift. Just a few days left. Okay. And so the timing of it all is extremely interesting. And also, one of Cassie's former personal assistants has also spoken out about this situation, corroborating this case. So let's take a look at this. So this is her former personal assistant, says it's all true. I was Cassie's personal assistant and seen a lot during my days beside her. She's a very strong woman and deserves every penny. The things she endured, you could never imagine. So according to him, this stuff is true, and he witnessed it firsthand as well. So he's also saying it's true, along with others. We're going to get to Kid Cudi in a minute. And before I get into this paperwork, the court documents, I totally must give you a trigger warning again, because this is where it begins to get gruesome. Y'all remember how gruesome the R. Kelly paperwork was? Kind of sort of along the same lines, okay? I'm sort of along the same lines. So mind your mental health. Is extremely early in the morning. It's 5:35 over here on the East Coast. If you're all the way over on the West Coast, it's, what is it, 2 in the morning, right? Guard your mental health, okay? Mind your mental peace. And we're gonna get into these court documents, okay?
Well,
what is it,
well.
Okay, and what's that?
Why does Cat got on chunk link jewelry? Do you all see? Oh my goodness! What do you all see this? It's dark. So the cat got on chunk link jewelry. I don't know what is going on. Oh my gracious!
Look at the camera and tell the people to subscribe. Look. Tell the people. Look up here. Look, the people up. Tell them to subscribe. You're just blending in with the chair. Go on, get out of here, brother. Get out of here, brother.
Oh my stars.
So yeah, I definitely think that the assistant needs to testify. And I think that anybody that's brought up within this paperwork, or anybody who's alleged anything, if Dawn or Aubrey are willing to testify, well, they might not have been around for Cassie, but anybody who was around and witnessed this firsthand, they need to be put on the stand and they need to be put under oath. Absolutely. They do. Okay. And I hope that they're brave enough to do so, but I can totally understand being scared of Diddy. I can totally understand. He gets upset with people if he feels like there's something a secret that you have that could be catastrophic to his career, his reputation. You might just disappear. So, I get the fear on one hand, but hopefully with all of these people speaking up and speaking out at once, people are encouraged to stand in solidarity. So Give me a second to take a couple sips of this tea before we get started, and we're gonna get into these 35 pages, okay?
Woo, well, you know what? Listen, now is no better time than right now to get up from your seat and let's take a movement break, because apparently we're gonna be here for a minute, right? We're gonna be here for a minute. It's early in the morning, so what we don't want is we don't want the blood to pool and coagulate at the bottoms of our feet. We want to be able to move and get our movement on. So come on, it's early. For those of you who are getting ready for work, come on. For those of you who are just getting into work, come on, move. Come on. And so listen, we're going to be back in 3 minutes. Stretch, touch your toes, reach above your head, stretch your ankles, move your knees around, move the elbows, the arms, get it up behind your back, do all of that. And what's going to happen is we're going to be back in 2 minutes. There are going to be some QR codes on the screen. So if you want to send a Cash App through, I will be reading those on the screen. That's right, Queenie. Get up out of bed and let's get ourselves moving. We'll be back in... Welcome, welcome. All right. Ooh. All right. I hope you got a chance to stretch and move. Like I said, we're going to be here for a minute. We're about to get into the court documents right now. So welcome, 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 everybody. Welcome, welcome. I am your host, Tonya TKO, from the Tonya TKO Show. I'm here bright and early this morning because I feel that this particular story has a lot of self-love lessons in it. When we love ourselves and we honor our temples, we pay attention to early warning signs of abuse. And we avert ourselves from being diminished, because that's how it begins. I learned in my garden this year, because I was growing kale, and it rained a lot in New York, and so the soil was waterlogged, the leaves stayed wet, and then here came the aphids. The aphids were able to exploit a vulnerability that existed in the kale, and they overtook the crop. And they just continued to multiply and grow until I couldn't even eat the kale myself. So I want you all to pay attention to the vulnerabilities that you have and make sure that you're getting the help that you need so that you are not left vulnerable and just out there with vulnerabilities that can be exploited by people who are predators, and predators are going to have their predation. So I'm going to play
when girls don't like you as a man, it's
TikTok
like
page where I talk about the early warning signs of abuse. So this right here is my TikTok page. Oh, this is the right page. So here, this video right here. The reason why, all right. So we're going to talk about, so listen, trigger warning. If you are somebody that you know, well, if you are in a relationship and you're not sure if it is an abusive relationship, just Google, you can Google the questionnaire, because there are signs that you can look for that may be happening right now, and you may not even realize that those are signs of abuse, because you may have been primed for abuse from childhood. So here. The reason why I have never been in a physically abusive relationship is because I consider lying to be a form of abuse. I consider you raising your voice to be a form of abuse. I consider you calling me out my name to be a form of abuse. And goddamn, if you start breaking shit around me, that's a form of abuse. I have never gotten to the point that a man has put his hands on me, because by the time he starts making stupid ass jokes, I tell him that that shit is unacceptable. And then all of a sudden, you're too serious, Tonya. You too this. You think too much, Tonya. It ain't that serious, girl. Calm down. That's what they tell me. But no, I will remain vigilant with my boundaries. You will not call me out my name. You will not raise your voice, drive and speed through traffic. You will not put me out of your car and expect for me to get back in. You don't do all of this hanging up BS on me. You don't do it. You don't do it. No. because of the values that I hold true within me. It doesn't get to that point because by the time you start raising your voice, I'm raising my eyebrows. And I'm also raising my purse up onto my doggone shoulder to walk out the door. That's what I'm doing. So before you think that you're going to start choking me out, oh no. Because it doesn't start with the choking. It starts with choking the life out of you verbally. The reason why I have... Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you. If you are suffering from violence behind the scenes, contact the domestic violence support hotline or network in your area. All you have to do is Google it. If you're in a dire situation, you can text them, and when you open them up in your browsers, there's no history of them being in your browser. So do what it is that you need to do. And listen, I'm not saying that I am better than anybody else. What I'm saying is that luckily, I was never primed for that type of abuse growing up. But the people who were, there are things that happen and continue to happen because they are familiar to you. So none of us are better than anybody else, and I am not immune to being abused. I have been in situations in which I have been psychologically beat down. And it happens slowly. It happens with a joke. It happens with things that, it happens with sentiment where somebody that you have grown to respect starts saying things and you respect their opinion, and then now they're saying these things about you. And this is why I reject it. There are a lot of people, I actually came across a website yesterday where people were talking about me and how I don't take criticisms from people in the audience. I don't know you. I don't respect you. We don't have a relationship. I'm not interested in your critiques about me. No. So write about me on these websites. Go right on ahead, because you're the type of person who just lets random people criticize and denigrate you. Not over here. You don't. You need to have the pedigree, and you need to be personally vetted by me. I don't understand how the standard is for me to let miscellaneous people online just open up their critiques, and I'm supposed to be like, yes, boss, I understand. No, I don't understand. Go somewhere with that. Go somewhere. So listen, I hear, what is this I hear? Okay. All right. So we have an apple that has come in from Pepper. And Pepper sends 222 and says, knockout support. Thank you. I appreciate that, Pepper. I love the love. Thank you. So the QR code is on the screen. Let me refresh. I know it's early, so. Angeline sends in $2 and says, for starting the toe touches, oh, piles and isometrics. Wait, what is that? Plies? I don't know what a ply is. Plies and isometrics. I gotta look that up. It sounds interesting. Thank you. Ooh, it's loud. All right. So absolutely. So thank you. I appreciate that. And give you some hearts. All right. So let's get back into this story where we're going to be going with the plainest Jane down a rabbit hole of abuse. We're going to be listening to Cassie's account of what happened to her. So if you want to support the broadcast, you can do that with the QR code that is on the screen. Take a picture of it, and I'll be reading the apples in about another half an hour. All right, so if you all are ready, I'm ready. Go ahead, thumbs up and like the video, subscribe, and we will continue to dive deep into this.
It will be difficult. Is everyone appreciative of this breakdown and the documents that we're about to get into? I hope so. Drop some pancakes, hit the thumbs up button. All right. And we are going to be right back.
Get into this Black on Business, Stickies.
How you going to go onto a break just as I'm going on the break? Here. since your sponsors did not sponsor me, we're gonna have to skip
it can be
over
kind of
that.
confusing, but like I said, I'm going to break it down to the best of my ability to make it digestible. Legal jargon can just all blend together at once. So I like to try to put it in layman's terms for my stickies because y'all deserve it, right? We all want this information. And if there's something that you need to file against somebody or somebody in your family or a friend, you need to know what these laws look like so that you can take action instead of feeling like, oh, it was 3 years ago. I can't do anything. I should have spoke up then. Nope. There might be something you can do. So let's go ahead and get into.
And let me just add on top of that. Because I have a situation going on in my family right now. If there's someone who has done something to you, the time to confront them is when they're in their prime, when they're strong enough to do something about it. When someone is old and feeble or on their deathbed, now you become the aggressor. Now you become the assailant. Now you're attacking a person who is now helpless. So if you're going to combat somebody, combat them in their prime. Confront them while they're healthy enough to deal with this confrontation. Because if you're going to wait until they're feeble, old, sick, dilapidated, torn down, in hospice care, on a ventilator and all that other stuff, now you only bringing on your own terrible karma or whatnot. You're not going to find peace that way. Get your peace now. We're going to have to look into the Adult Survivor Act to see and talk about how some of you may still have a chance. At least put it on the books so that if somebody looks back, and I'm going to take my own advice, because if the deadline is November 23rd or 24th, that means there's some paperwork that I need to be filing in the state of damn New York, my doggone self. So do it now. At least, even if the trial of the thing never goes anywhere, at least there's a police report that is out there, and that if anybody looks it up, it's there on the record, so that somebody else can say, well, listen, other people have made these allegations as well. So,
let's go ahead and get into the documents, all right? Which I'm really eager to go over, to be quite frank.
Yeah, see people throwing up the pancakes. Go ahead and throw up your boxing gloves over here. All of my knockouts, put them boxing gloves up in the air. Give the video a thumbs up, like, subscribe, share. There's 666 people on YouTube. My gracious. Oh, my lordy. Let's continue. Let's hope the number goes up.
Even though I might lose my voice. So let's get started. So we have the District Court of the Southern District of New York. We have Cassie versus P. Diddy, Bad Boy Entertainment, Bad Boy Records, Epic Records, Combs Enterprises LLC, and Doe Corps 1 through 10. Again, this trigger warning is very different. Very different. It's something that nearly no one has ever seen. Okay. The website, let me see. The website doesn't pull up from one. What website? What website are you talking about? Let me know. So trigger warning, this document contains highly graphic information of sexual nature, including sexual assault. Oh, JasmineMadeIt.com doesn't pop up. I'll check that in just a moment, okay? The defendant, P. Diddy, is a rapper and a record executive popularly known by his stage name Puff Daddy. P. Diddy, Mr. Combs, came to fame in the early 1990s with his record label Bad Boy Records. He rose to prominence in the music and entertainment industry over the decades and is regularly referred to as a hip-hop mogul. In 2022, P. Diddy received the Lifetime Achievement Award at the BET Awards. Oh, baby, they pulling out the facts early. Let's... Okay. And so during his acceptance speech, he said, just last year, I have to give a special shout out. Thank you. Love to the people that was really there for me. He named a number of people before adding, and also Cassie for holding me down in the dark times. Love. Now, wait a minute. You abused this woman all up and down, right? Front, back, left, and right. And you say, thank you for holding me down. This is the reason why women have a problem with being considered a ride or die. Because y'all think, some men think, or some people think it's tolerating abuse or mistreatment. And they think that when they give you this thank you, that it buys your blind loyalty or silence to keep their secret because you went up on a stage last year and said, thank you. What was I supposed to be happy about? Baby. Okay. The truth, however.
And your eyebrows are looking sharp, Jane. I don't know what type of X-Acto brush you use, but they're looking good, girl.
Is that Cassie was held down. Oh, shit. I love the way they playing with these words here. He said, Cassie held me down in dark times. The truth is, however, Cassie was held down by Mr. Combs and endured over a decade of his violent behavior and disturbed demands. For Cassie, the quote, dark times were those spent trapped by P. Diddy in a cycle of abuse, violence, sex trafficking, among other violent and unlawful acts. Ooh. Okay, so they're listing them again. I'm giving y'all the trigger warnings, okay? Says that he raped Cassie in her own home after she tried to leave him. He often punched, beat, kicked, and stomped on Cassie, resulting in bruises, burst lips, black eyes, and bleeding. Blew up a man's car after he learned that he was romantically involved with Cassie. Forced Cassie to engage in sex acts with male sex workers while masturbating and filming the encounters.
Ugh.
Ran out of his apartment with a firearm in pursuit of a rival industry executive whom he learned was nearby. Demanded that Cassie carry the firearm in her purse just to make her uncomfortable and demonstrate how dangerous he is. And introduced Cassie to a lifestyle of excessive alcohol and substance abuse and required her to procure illicit prescriptions to satisfy his own addictions.
Didn't Jennifer Lopez also say that Diddy tried to stash something on her, and that's part of the reason that they broke up? Didn't she allege something like that?
Okay. Let's go to the bush. Give me.
It was gone. Let me just go in the bush and weep. Let me just go in the bush and weep. I just have to go in the bush and weep. Really. I don't understand. I swear to God, I don't understand.
What's going on?
All right. This is pretty graphic. Somebody said R. Kelly Jr. I mean, might as well say. My goodness. That took me by surprise a little bit. I ain't even gonna hold you. All right, so let's get back into this. So Cassie met P. Diddy in 2005 when she was 19 years old and he was 37 years old. So
she was 19. Oh my God. See? Don't we talk about this? She was 19 years old and he was nearly 40. He wasn't getting with her because older women are just too hard to get along with. Yeah, if you want to enact all this foolishness on them, it's too hard to do that to a woman who has lived. You got a girl who was in high school the year before. Haven't we talked about this? Here, I'll play the TikTok that I put up here. Listen. What does she know about choosing a man? A girl who is 2 years out of high school, who a 30-year-old man has now descended upon. What does she know about who or what he is? Why is it that young women are not given the grace of experience? You supposed to pop out your mama punani already knowing with a damn unispectacle, a twisted mustache, a gray wig, glasses, and all the wisdom of the ancestors. You're supposed to already know how to do this life thing. You're supposed to already know how to deal with the games that a man who has been dating 10 years before you already knew. You all are acting like these men are going after women. Look, you still got that gray matter in your brain until you're 27 to 30 years old. Your brain is not even fully developed. What does she know about choosing a man? So what did Cassie know at the age of 19 with some 37-year-old, some damn near 40, old enough to be her father? What did she know? And people are going to look. So now that she is grown, now she's filing the lawsuit. And I am here for it. If you're here for it, go ahead and put up the number. You know what? Put up the type of 30 for 30 million. Let her get every one of them ducats, for real.
Basically a 20-year age gap between these two. He signed her to his label, Bad Boy Records, and within a few years lured Cassie into a fast-paced, drug-fueled lifestyle and into a romantic relationship with him. Her boss, one of the most powerful men in the entertainment industry, and a vicious, cruel, and controlling man, nearly 2 decades her senior. So P. Diddy asserted complete control over Cassie's personal and professional life, thereby ensuring her inability to escape his hold. He provided unprecedented avenues for success for the aspiring artist, but in return demanded obedience, loyalty, and silence. Throughout their relationship, P. Diddy was prone to uncontrollable rage and frequently beat Cassie savagely. These beatings were witnessed by P. Diddy's staff and employees of Bad Boy Entertainment and P. Diddy's related businesses, but no one dared to speak up against their frightening and ferocious boss. Now, following these episodes of horrific abuse, P. Diddy would immediately attempt to hide Cassie in the evidence of his violent rage. He often showered her with gifts following the incidents of physical violence, which was a typical pattern of behavior by serial abusers.
Well, my word, listen, if I would have known he was violent, when they asked me to turn around in that elevator, I may have done it. If I knew that the man was punching people up and all of that. So, I was young and ignorant then. My gracious. See, this is how the intimidation begins. Because once you start learning the repercussions of not obeying, it offsets further disobedience. Because you're like, well, I don't want that savage beating again.
In addition to the physical assaults, P. Diddy frequently reminded Cassie of his ability to cause serious harm, whether by requiring her to carry the gun in her purse or by blowing up the car of a musician that was romantically interested in Cassie. Now, keep in mind, this was Kid Cudi. They dated at one point. Cassie and Kid Cudi dated at one point, and he has came out and confirmed that. But I do believe we're going to get into that within this paperwork as well. So, adding insult to injury, P. Diddy used illegal substances and threats of violence to force Cassie into repeated and unwanted sexual encounters with male sex workers. Over the years that P. Diddy abused Cassie physically and sexually, she again and again tried to escape his tight hold over her life. And every time she hid, P. Diddy's vast network of corporations and affiliated entities found her, and those who worked for P. Diddy's companies implored her to return to him. Many went as far as to explicitly state that her future return to P. Diddy would that her failure to return to P. Diddy would hinder her success in the entertainment industry. Now, when Cassie believed that she finally separated from her long-term abuser, she joined P. Diddy for a dinner, after which he forced her into her home and raped her while she repeatedly said no and tried to push him away. Now, Cassie has fully escaped P. Diddy, but the harm that the assaults and sexual abuse he caused her to experience for nearly a decade will forever haunt her. She has required intensive medical and psychological care to recover from the trauma she lived through. She cannot, however, continue to live in silence about what she endured. P. Diddy remains immensely powerful and immensely dangerous. Cassie therefore seeks justice for the decade of her life that P. Diddy took away from her, with threats of violence, excessive use of drugs, physical and psychological abuse, and sexual slavery. Damn. Ooh. Oh. Accordingly, Cassie brings this action seeking injunctive and, she's looking for monetary relief against P. Diddy, his businesses, in violation of federal sex trafficking laws. Okay. Gender motivated violence, the New York Services for Victims of Human Trafficking, according to Civil Code 52.5. So the court, I don't think that this is important. This is just talking about jurisdictions. Pursuant 28 USC 1391B, the venue proper in this court, because a substantial part of the events or omissions giving rise to the action, including the unlawful employment practices and intentional and negligent conduct alleged herein, occurred within the district. Okay, so the plaintiff is Cassie, California, resident of the states of California and Connecticut. She was employed by Bad Boy LLC, Bad Boy Entertainment, and the related entities. At all relevant times herein, Cassie met the definition of an employee of the defendants, P. Diddy and all of his companies, basically. And so P. Diddy, upon information and belief, resides within the state of California. At all relevant times herein, P. Diddy met the definition of an employer of Cassie under all relevant statutes. So defendant Bad Boy Entertainment Music Media, the entertainment company founded by P. Diddy, which includes the record label Bad Boy Records LLC. At all relevant times, Cassie was an employee of P. Diddy. The defendant Bad Boy Records LLC is a Delaware limited liability company with a principal place of business located in New York, New York. At all relevant times, Cassie was an employer. I'm sorry, the defendant, P. Diddy, was an employer of Cassie. Okay, this is getting kind of repetitive. The defendant record label, okay, kind of repetitive. Limited liability company. Okay, factual allegations. Let's get into this. 300 people here, 156 thumbs up. Y'all, please do me a favor and hit the like on the video. All right, I went and got the paperwork. I did my part. I'm not asking y'all to contribute or send a cash app. You can, but it ain't required. Just a thumbs up button. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for letting me keep you connected and in the know with what's happening in the Black world. Don't forget to smash on that like button for support and for more Black news.
Okay, so let's get into the factual allegations. This is where things get even more graphic. All right. Teenaged Cassie meets middle-aged P. Diddy at...
I'm weak. Why they said teenaged Miss Ventura meets middle-aged Mr. Combe? Woo, child.
As her career begins.
Listen, there's 800 people here on the YouTube channel. Go ahead and thumbs up the video. There's 100 on Facebook. Go ahead and thumbs up the video, like the video, throw up some hearts, write a comment, share the video. We're going to be going through all the court documents. We have the plaintiff Jane on the screen and in the house, so shout out to her. Throw up your pancakes, throw up your boxing gloves, and let's get back into this.
P. Diddy and Cassie in late 2005 or early 2006, after P. Diddy heard that Cassie's first single playing in the club, expressed interest in signing her to the label Bad Boy. At the time, Cassie was 19. He was 37. Within months, in February 2006, Cassie signed a 10-album deal with P. Diddy's record label. Cassie's first album was self-titled Cassie. It was released in August of 2006, debuting at number 4 on the U.S. Billboard 200, which is kind of pretty impressive for your first album. Now, to promote the album, Cassie made television appearances on MTV's TRL and BET's 106 in Park. Hey, put a 5 in the chat if you remember those days, getting out of school and going home to watch the countdowns, TRL, BET, hell, Cedar's World, Ticket in the Basement, Rap City. Put a 5 in the chat if you're a part of that. I'm a 90s baby. I'm part of that, so.
Yeah, I'm 80s. I'm a part of the Video Music Box. If you remember Video Music Box, put up a 2. If this was your heyday, put up a 3. Let's see. 80s versus 90s in the house.
So she went on BET, she went on 106 in Park, she went on TRL. So Cassie suffered from significant performance anxiety during the appearances, and press outlets were highly critical of her performances on the shows. I told you, as I stated earlier in this video, it was very obvious that she was timid, but it seemed like she was trying to come out of her shell. So it seemed like she had hope, right? So P. Diddy, however, sought to rehabilitate his newly signed talent, telling MTV News, quote, "You could hear the nervousness in her voice. And to be honest, I kind of smiled at it because it made me really appreciate what I really love about her. She's a regular person. It made me appreciate that she got nervous, and it was kind of cute to me, to be honest. You've got to understand that success for her is coming out of nowhere. It's just so huge, and sometimes everybody handles it differently." A man knocking on the door at 40 talking about, "Oh, I found her cute. I found her adorable," as you mold her and make her your girlfriend. No, you're a predator. No, you're a groomer. Let's keep it a buck. You're not fooling me. You're not fooling me. You're a predator. You shouldn't be knocking on 40 finding no 19-year-old to be cute and adorable. And I guess you probably maybe even called her sexy at that time. Y'all got romantic. You had her dressing in a certain way. I remember what she was dressing like back at that time. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Stop it.
Child, what did you need to
While
give us a warning on that?
Paternalistic and nothing. Oh, here we go. While clearly paternalistic in noting that it was cute to him how regular Cassie appeared, P. Diddy, his comments rang true to some extent upon signing with Bad Boy Records. Cassie was quickly thrust into the spotlight and was unfamiliar with how to navigate her new celebrity status. So P. Diddy's recognition and glorification of Cassie's, she's pretty naive at the time, to set the groundwork for his manipulative and coercive romantic and sexual relationship with Cassie, a woman who is nearly 2 decades his junior. So within a year of signing with Bad Boy Records, P. Diddy became deeply entrenched in Cassie's life, almost immediately asserting possession and control over her and inserting himself into all aspects of her career and her personal life. In November of 2006, P. Diddy invited Cassie to perform his song, Come to Me, along with him at the MTV Europe Music Awards in Denmark. After rehearsal for the performance, P. Diddy walked around in a robe with a drink in his hand, flaunting his lavish party lifestyle to his label's newly signed artists. During hair and makeup leading up to the performance, Cassie's hairstylist and P. Diddy's makeup artist told Cassie that P. Diddy was interested in her. So Cassie shrugged off the gossip and, in fact, expressed disgust given the large age gap between her and the president of her record label. You all, please be sure to share this video via text message, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, your group chats, however it is that you share videos. Thank you so much, because we are getting down to.
Yes, and her link to the original video is in the description, so support the original video. Let's see. We've been on here an hour and a half. I'm not sure how much longer we're going to be on here, so you might have to go to her original video to watch the rest of it. We'll see how much longer we're going to be on here, because it's almost time for people to get to work right now. I know some of you got to run out the door, so let's keep going.
Now, emphasizing the age and power dynamic early on in their working relationship, P. Diddy positioned himself as a father figure and a protector of Cassie by way of example. After returning to New York after a trip to Las Vegas, during which she endured a brief hospital stay, Cassie, who by then was fully healthy, went out to the club with her friends. And when P. Diddy saw her out, he reprimanded her, telling her to go home and take care of herself. At the time, Cassie thought that her record label was looking out for her well-being and that P. Diddy had her best interest in mind. P. Diddy also ensured that he was intertwined, all right, with Cassie's personal and social life, for instance, by inviting himself to Cassie's 21st birthday party in Las Vegas. He also brought along famous musicians and producers, thereby flaunting his celebrity status and influence in front of a young and impressionable Cassie. Although P. Diddy knew that Cassie was in a relationship at the time, and even though he was publicly in a relationship with Kim Porter, P. Diddy nevertheless pursued Cassie. At an after party in a hotel suite following Cassie's 21st birthday party, P. Diddy pulled Cassie into a bathroom and forcibly kissed her. Cassie did not consent to this unwanted contact. She immediately ran out of the bathroom. And
isn't that how Trump said he does it? Don't ask for permission. Just ram your tongue down their throat. And what is it? The Little Mermaid, in the reboot of it, they added a line in the Kiss the Girl song to ask for permission. And there were people who were like, no, why should they do, why? And I'm like, I think that's a good idea. I heard the song and the song sound good.
The hotel suite and cried. She told her best friend at the time about what happened, but was too scared to tell anyone else. At the VMAs, the Video Music Awards, the following day, Cassie's boyfriend at the time joined her and P. Diddy at a table at the award ceremony. P. Diddy became angry, telling Cassie that the invitation to the award ceremony was only for her and not for her significant other. So now we get into the part where it states that P. Diddy lured Cassie into a relationship. Now, despite her clear rejection of P. Diddy's advances, P. Diddy continued to demand that Cassie spend time with him, including for a weekend in P. Diddy's residence in Miami and for nights out in New York City. One particular night in September of 2007, P. Diddy insisted on taking Cassie out, and she feared that rejecting P. Diddy's request would have repercussions for her album deal, with P. Diddy and his company, which was Bad Boy Records, the record label that she signed to. So P. Diddy picked up Cassie from her apartment in Manhattan in a blue luxury vehicle. And Cassie was surprised that when she got into the car, P. Diddy was already inebriated. So
that's because he probably was getting himself juiced up for what it is that he knew he was about to do. So I will say this, for those of you who have ever been in a long-term relationship where you've met a person's family, where you have finances tied together, where you have a pet that you may have bought together, it becomes very difficult to disentangle from these relationships. So he interwove himself into different aspects of her life. He was her boss, her employer, he was involved in her social outings and all of this stuff. In her money, probably helped her set up the ways to create her bank account and did her contracts and all of this stuff. So he had a lot of different touch points. It becomes very difficult to disengage from a person who has all of these different touch points into your life. My heart breaks for her. She was so young. Let me tell you, for those of you, if you know how difficult it is to disentangle from a person that your life has been entangled with in several different ways, go ahead and put up a 4. I want to see.
Well, not to say he was drunk, but he was inebriated. He could have been gone off of anything. Now, P. Diddy handed her a pill and told her to take it. But when Cassie asked what the pill was, P. Diddy dismissed her and told her she would take it. She later learned that the pill was ecstasy.
That she would like it.
Lord have mercy. Something that Cassie had never had before. She'd never tried it, and she didn't want to try it.
So it was ecstasy.
The first time that P. Diddy got Cassie high.
And remember, she's young, and he's more powerful than she is. There's a power imbalance that exists here. So when I did the research on the precursors for abuse, one of those things is a tremendous amount of power imbalance, whether that power imbalance comes from money, age, race, many positions of power, etc. This is one of the precursors. Not all abuse happens under that guise, but that's what one of the main precursors are.
Diddy then proceeded to drive recklessly at very high speeds down the West Side Highway of Manhattan. Cassie was very scared, but did not dare to object to P. Diddy, who appeared drunk, high, and agitated.
Remember I said in my video about abusive behavior, driving recklessly, one of them. Pay attention.
P. Diddy took Cassie to an upscale lounge in downtown Manhattan, where he proceeded to get into an altercation with the security staff who would not permit P. Diddy to enter, presumably because he was belligerent. Cassie decided to go home. But for the remainder of the night, P. Diddy messaged Cassie over and over again, complaining that she left him high and alone. In early fall 2007, P. Diddy flexed his power and influence when he paid a promoter to create a fake flyer for a party hosted by Cassie. Oh, that's low down and dirty. You paid somebody to make a fake flyer, making it seem like Cassie is hosting a party and it's fake just to lure her out the house. This fake posting allowed Cassie to have an excuse to go to Miami, Florida, and get away from her boyfriend by using the guise of a legitimate event that she had to attend. Cassie was stunned at how easily P. Diddy was able to recruit others to lie for him. Cassie was uncomfortable with the fake flyer because the request to go to Miami was made by the owner of the record label, and because she was scared to go against his wishes and face repercussions to her career, which was brand new, she agreed to join P. Diddy in Florida. During this trip in Miami, P. Diddy provided Cassie with copious amounts of drugs. She became more intoxicated than she ever had been before, and her intoxication lasted throughout the weekend trip. As she wanted P. Diddy to continue to support her career, she felt that she could not refuse P. Diddy's urge.
So then look at this. Look at this. She's already young. There's already a power imbalance. But remember, like I told you, the aphids, they needed an environment rife to be able to take over my kale, right? So many people need to get you into a state of undress, to get you vulnerable, to get you inebriated, so that they can exploit that vulnerability. Pay attention.
Urging her to take more drugs. After providing her with drugs, P. Diddy had sexual intercourse with Cassie during this trip. This is trifling. I mean, this is just...
That right there is it's the capital R word right there. If a person cannot consent, the absence of a no is not a yes. If a person can't consent, they can't consent. And if a person is inebriated out of their mind because you plied them with all, especially a young person, you know how much influence you have over a young person? Those of us who are parents of young people, we know.
It's trifling. They need to lock him up. Okay? They need to lock him up. I mean, for good, they need to lock him up.
Police! Help! Police! Help! Police! Help!
in New York.
So
only in New York.
Within 2 years, after providing her with so within 2 years, within 2 years of meeting P. Diddy, Cassie found herself lured into the immediate circle of her boss, the owner of the label, and one of the most powerful men of the entertainment industry. Now we get into the part where it says P. Diddy exerts control over Cassie's career and personal life. Now, from the very start of the relationship, P. Diddy exerted his power and influence over Cassie, and the dynamic was fueled by their nearly 20-year age difference, as well as their relative position in the entertainment industry, with P. Diddy considered a music mogul and Cassie at the very start of her career as an entertainer. P. Diddy's aggressive and demanding approach to those he worked with made it impossible for anyone to challenge him. And Cassie soon learned that P. Diddy insisted on blind loyalty from everyone in his inner circle. Although Cassie had saved up some of the money from her young modeling career, P. Diddy's display of wealth was quite intimidating to her. P. Diddy paid for things with wads of cash and would repeatedly tell Cassie, "Don't worry about money, I have money." P. Diddy expensed lavish vacations for him and Cassie and purchased a car for her, paid for her apartment, provided her with extensive amounts of designer clothing. Okay, so he's love bombing and just showering her in gifts, at which point it makes it difficult for her to not accept. Got it. Around 2008 or 2009, P. Diddy began to rent an apartment in Manhattan for Cassie. The apartment was in walking distance of P. Diddy's New York residence. He first showed Cassie the apartment by bringing her there along with her parents. Cassie's parents were skeptical of P. Diddy's display of wealth, but proud of their daughter's newfound success. Around 2010, P. Diddy similarly paid for an apartment for Cassie in Los Angeles, which was located about 5 minutes away from P. Diddy's residence. He paid for many of the apartments in California and also purchased a Jaguar for her around 2013 or 2014. Aha, you see how we're creeping up to the year 2016. Remember how important I told y'all the year 2016 is to the statute of limitations on the criminal side of this debacle. All right. And it's really interesting that he always wants to keep her 5 minutes away from where he is. Nothing more than a control tactic by somebody that's.
But Jane, remember, these are allegations. Jane is saying that Puffy should have to serve 30 years and give up that 30 mil. So her parents should have been a little more vocal and vigilant. Well, you know what? It says that they were proud of her newfound success. Man.
Pretty much 2 decades older than her. Quite disgusting. All aspects of Cassie's life were controlled by either P. Diddy or his management companies, and every event that Cassie attended, from the travel to the makeup and the clothing, was paid directly by P. Diddy and his affiliated companies. Compounding all of this encompassing intrusion into her life, P. Diddy secured his control over the young and impressionable Cassie by introducing her to a drug-fueled lifestyle and kept her complacent and compliant. P. Diddy first introduced Cassie to opioids in 2008. Lord have mercy. And would often have pills and other drugs out in the open like candy. Upon information and belief, P. Diddy had been addicted to prescription painkillers and took ecstasy frequently. At first, Cassie was given a prescription that P. Diddy received from a doctor in Miami, and eventually when P. Diddy exhausted his supply of the pills, he demanded that Cassie procure prescriptions from his Miami doctor in her own name.
Damn.
Oh my goodness. P. Diddy also became deeply involved with Cassie's personal life, with his personal staff attending Cassie's day-to-day travel and other needs, including medical care. Here's where we get into the part of the HIPAA violations. On multiple occasions, P. Diddy had Cassie's personal medical records sent directly to his email address. For instance, when Cassie began experiencing memory loss, potentially due to excessive drug use and head injuries caused by P. Diddy's beatings, as described below, her MRI results were provided directly to Mr. Combs. Mr. Combs also repeatedly arranged for his staff to drive Cassie to certain doctor's appointments. I mean, you can't make this up. You really can't. This is absurd. In this way, P. Diddy exerted ownership over Cassie as another example of the ways in which he manipulated Cassie, ensured obedience early on in their relationship, and he asked Cassie what she called her grandfather. What? When Cassie said that she referred to her grandfather as Pop-Pop, P. Diddy perversely insisted that Cassie refer to him with that nickname. Girl.
Ew. Child, listen. Not Pop-Pop. Ew.
This is a sick Negro.
No, she didn't. Why you? Why must you be?
This
I'm gonna
is
have
worse
to
than
get me
Monique calling
some.
Sydney daddy every day. This is worse than.
I can't with you. I'm
What
gonna
do
have to
you
get
call
me
your
some
grandfather?
gifts on my
That'll
board.
gross me out so much.
Call me Pop Pop. Call me Pop Pop.
Oh, Lord have mercy. This is very perverse. This is very perverse.
Child, we only on page 12. Oh, my Lord.
Why?
Now we get into the next part. P. Diddy and Cassie's relationship becomes violent and abusive. What started as a whirlwind of celebrity meetings and drug and alcohol-fueled parties, however, quickly turned frightening and violent. Cassie was also exposed to the intense violence that pervaded P. Diddy's rise to fame. For example, on one occasion when P. Diddy and Cassie were using drugs together in his home, one of his security staff barged in and announced that Suge Knight, oh baby, not Suge Knight, Suge Knight, announced that Suge Knight, a longtime rival of P. Diddy, was spotted. I lost my spot. Was spotted at Mel's Drive-In Diner in Los Angeles. P. Diddy began to get dressed, retrieved multiple guns from a safe, and ran out of his home to where he believed Suge Knight was dining. I know he didn't think he could handle Suge Knight. Cassie became terrified and began to cry. I would too. Why would you think you could handle Suge Knight? Oh my goodness. On the last two occasions, P. Diddy demanded that Cassie hold on the last two occasions, P. Diddy demanded that Cassie hold his guns in her purse. Cassie had no familiarity with guns and was petrified that the firearm would accidentally go off in her purse. There was no clear reason why P. Diddy required her to hold his guns except to reinforce to his young girlfriend that he was violent, powerful, and dangerous. Child. Over the next decade, multiple times each year, P. Diddy would violently beat Cassie, leaving bruises on her body. After every instance in which he beat Cassie, P. Diddy used his money and power to orchestrate extensive efforts to hide the evidence of his abuse, including by hiding Cassie in hotels for days at a time to let her bruises heal. In one such instance, after a party with Jay-Z, oh baby, we got Jay-Z up in the paperwork too. All right. In one such instance, after a party with Jay-Z, P. Diddy beat Cassie repeatedly in an Escalade, including by kicking and hitting her. She has such a tiny frame, and she's a woman. He forced her out of the vehicle on Fifth Avenue in New York City, and she eventually was able to hail a cab to get to her apartment in Manhattan, where she cried in fear, realizing there was no one that she could tell about what happened at the hands of an incredibly powerful man. She spent the subsequent 3 days hiding in her apartment. In January of 2009, P. Diddy learned that Cassie spoke to another music manager at a party in LA, and he became enraged. She had hoped that speaking to this manager would allow her to further grow her career and that P. Diddy would be happy for her. I guess she felt like she was networking, huh? But instead, he became extremely angry and pulled her out of the club where the party was taking place. Now, in the car leaving the club, P. Diddy beat Cassie, pushing her into the corner of the vehicle and stomping on her face. Oh, Lord have mercy. P. Diddy security staff Roger Bonds tried to stop the beating but was unable to de-escalate the situation. When the car arrived at P. Diddy's residence, Cassie attempted to run away, but P. Diddy followed her and proceeded to kick her in the face. Cassie was bleeding profusely and was ushered into P. Diddy's home, where she began to throw up from the violent assault. Lord have mercy. Surviving P. Diddy, child. The time is here.
I see why this has a trigger warning. This is terrible. This is terrible.
Never stuck, but I hope it sticks now. Let me go to the bush, because I just can't imagine being kicked in the face, let alone by a man over and over again.
It was gone.
Let me just go in the bush and weep. Let me just go in the bush and weep. I just have to go in the bush and weep. Really. I don't understand. I swear to God, I don't understand.
So she's thrown up because of the assault, and upon recognizing the damage that he had done and the physical evidence of his abuse, P. Diddy panicked and forced his staff to bring Cassie to a hotel suite at the London Hotel in LA, where she was required to stay for a week. During this stay, as her injuries from the beating healed, Cassie began to fully realize that P. Diddy's tremendously loyal network not only knew about and witnessed this assault, but also that these witnesses were not willing to do anything meaningful to stop P. Diddy's behavior. She recognized that she was powerless and that reporting P. Diddy to the authorities would not alter his status or influence, but would merely give P. Diddy another excuse to hurt her. While in the hotel, Cassie asked to go to her parents' house, but P. Diddy wouldn't let her leave. She lied to her mother when asked about an online gossip forum that reported the assault. P. Diddy proceeded to instruct his assistants to purchase excessive amounts of gifts for Cassie, which were delivered to the hotel room where she remained trapped. Cassie was terrified, she was isolated, and she was unable to see a pathway out of P. Diddy's abusive hold on her life. She found herself becoming numb to the abuse that she was experiencing and became entirely beholden to P. Diddy's demands. She began to blindly follow his instructions out of fear of again being on the receiving end of a vicious beating. By P. Diddy's own admission, his relationship with Cassie was like Bobby and Whitney. What? Oh, really? A clear acknowledgement of the unequal power dynamic and the excessive domestic violence that permeated their relationship. From the outside looking in, Cassie had heard others refer to her relationship with P. Diddy as akin to Ike and Tina. Yeah, I could agree. Her volatile and abusive partner, who also owned her label and therefore held her future success in his hands, had fully exerted control over every aspect of her life. P. Diddy forces Cassie into sex trafficking. Lord have mercy.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is a lot. This is a lot. Nobody deserves this. Now remember, these are allegations. We don't know how much of this is true, what's exaggerated, what's spot on. We don't know as the case is compiling, but remember, this is her account. She's saying that there are multiple witnesses. I don't even know what to say. We're saying my heart hurts. Yeah, I feel you. Let us get up. Let's take another movement break right now. Let's get our blood pumping. Let's stretch and be able to I feel dizzy after hearing all of this, especially that account from the car and then throwing up afterwards and her face being all battered and her being forced to stay in a hotel with some stink gifts coming. This is terrible. Just terrible. All right, get up out of your... All right, listen. I don't know how many of you out there need to do your yogic squat. But come on, let's get it. Man, I'm happy for the movement breaks, get the blood flowing, especially with a heavy topic like this one. Man, I don't even know what to say to all of this. Let's get these apples red. All right. Terry sends $5 and says, for the upliftment of women is a must. Bravo, queen. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. And Zynisha sends $10 and says, for support. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. All right. Are you all ready to get back into this story? Listen, brace yourselves because we're about to get into the sex trafficking part. So that right there. Oh, man. Whew. How are you all enjoying the broadcast? Oh, we're going to read the PayPals. My bad. Give me just 1 second. How are you enjoying the broadcast? Thank you to Jane. You make my job so much easier. So make sure that you support her video. Go over to her video. Thumb it up. Let it play in the background while you're doing something. Watch it again. But yeah, support the original channel where the content originated from, which is on Jane's platform, who we are watching. She's in the comments today, so throw up your pancakes for her. Throw up your boxing gloves for me. Like the video. I just heard an apple come through. Share it. We'll have to, hopefully it'll show up by the next time I refresh. But yeah, we're going to check the PayPal right now. This is deplorable. This is terrible. I can't even imagine the I've never been in a physically violent relationship. So I cannot imagine the terror that a person feels when a person who is stronger than them is doing this to them. Not only that, but a person who is intertwined with the way that you make money and that you just can't get away from. I can't even imagine the terror. And then that other people, like, you expect for somebody to stop it, and nobody no one is helping you, and she's only 21. Like, even me at this big age right here, I can't imagine it. So I can't even imagine at 19, 20, 21, all of this taking place. And remember, this is alleged, but a lot of this is coming out now. So, and other people who are witnesses to the dynamic are speaking up.
See. Within a few months of beginning a romantic relationship with 40-year-old P. Diddy, the 22-year-old Cassie felt beholden to his whims and demands. And while in New York City, P. Diddy told Cassie that he wanted to engage in a fantasy called voyeurism. Oh, gosh. I know what voyeurism is because I've seen this. It's this Netflix documentary about that. Fantasy called voyeurism. P. Diddy said that it would turn him on if he saw Cassie with another dick. Oh, Lord. With another penis. Well, this says dick, but the first time P. Diddy hired a man and brought the man into the home of the in Los Angeles. The man, P. Diddy, and Cassie wore masquerade masks and ingested drugs. P. Diddy directed Cassie to perform sexual acts with this man while P. Diddy watched him. So he got male prostitutes in there making them have sex with his girl. He masturbated.
Humiliation, domination.
Jesus. He masturbated while he directed Cassie and the man to do specific sexual acts. The entire encounter lasted multiple days.
Oh my God.
What's wrong with these people? P. Diddy began to call the arrangement a freak off, or FO. He would repeatedly tell Cassie at random moments that he wanted to FO, and Cassie was eventually expected to facilitate the location and hiring of the male sex workers. At certain points during Cassie and P. Diddy's relationship, he would insist on a freak-offs weekly, and P. Diddy would repeatedly tell Cassie that this practice was our thing and our secret. The freak-offs will often take place in the hotel suites, include the Trump International Hotel. You know what? The stuff that be going on at the Trump International, because, R. Kelly was living up in the damn Trump.
What?
Oh my God.
Girl, I need some of these gifts. I got to get some of these on my board. I got to get some of these. I got to get my favorites.
The freak-offs would often take place in...
Listen, send me some really good gifts. You can send them to me on my website, TonyaTKO.com /contact. You can also send them to me on Instagram, because I'm going to put some of these on my board because these are so entertaining and it's a nice pattern interrupt. So send some to me. This is too funny. Oh my God.
Hotel suites, including at the Trump International Hotel in Beverly Hills, the London Hotel in Los Angeles, the Intercontinental Century City, Atlanta, New York City, the One Hotel in New York and Miami, the Mandarin Oriental Hotel in New York and Miami.
The Mandarin Oriental. Girl, you don't know the Mandarin Oriental. You're talking about the Mandarin. The Mandarin Oriental. These places, way back in the days, they used to be like $400 a night for a regular room. I can only imagine what they are now.
Beverly Hills, the shutters would be lots of different hotels.
The Fontainebleau.
On one occasion around 2000.
You don't want to say Fontainebleau? You don't want to say Fontainebleau, the Fontainebleau. The Fontaine. Yes. Oh my gosh, these are all expensive places. I know because I did a promotion with a company where I put my book, the book of affirmation self-love. There was a program with these expensive hotels to have like a books by the bedside. And I put my books inside these hotels, and they went onto Amazon. That's why some of you couldn't even get them, because these people went onto Amazon and bought all the books. Like, even though they were free by the bedside, free for them, but I had to pay to have it placed there. They went onto Amazon and just cleared out the stock. But yeah, the Fontainebleau.
2013, P. Diddy had a freak-off set up at the Intercontinental Hotel in New York City, after which he was charged with tens of thousands of dollars in damages upon information and belief that P. Diddy's chief of staff, Tony Fletcher, paid the invoice charged by the hotel.
Oh, God. What type of damages? Like, what the hell was he doing?
Now, Cassie was eventually instructed to use websites and escort services to find male sex workers or prostitutes to participate in the freak-offs. And P. Diddy told Cassie to search for large black penises. Lord.
Oh, God, no.
Sometimes P. Diddy would pay to fly male sex workers to his location, including multiple cities in the United States as well as abroad. He required Cassie and his staff to help him make these arrangements. P. Diddy's assistants would help to set up the freak-offs, including by setting up the hotel suites with baby oil and Astroglide. You know what? This is a bit much.
Wow, that's terrible.
Oh.
That's terrible.
Oh.
She was not aroused. She was not prepared. She was not physically able. And so he got Astroglide and all that type of craziness to be able to just force this on her. This is madness. Okay. And the thing about it is, if these things took place, there will be corroborating evidence. There will be the hotel rooms. There will be all of this.
Okay.
Out of pocket for that shit. Way out of pocket. What do you gain from that?
P. Diddy always supplied Cassie and the sex workers with copious amounts of drugs before and during the freak-offs. Cassie was given ecstasy, cocaine, GHB. What is GHB? Ketamine. What is ketamine?
Ketamine
marijuana and alcohol.
Ketamine is that thing that happened to the girl who was capital R worded on the dance floor, Jasmine Island. It's a tranquilizer. It's credited for making people catatonic as well as losing their memory after.
Alcohol in excessive amounts during the freak-offs, which allowed her to disassociate during the horrific encounters. If anybody knows what GHB or ketamine is, please.
Here, I got it here. GHB is gamma hydroxybutyrate. It's a depressant, which means it slows down the messages traveling between the brain and the body. Man, oh man.
Please let me know in the comments. What the hell is that? I told you he wanted to get her zooted and booted so that she was so out of it that she couldn't, fight him off, turn him away, say no. Oh, rave drugs.
After all of this time, she probably welcomed the relief so that she didn't have to be there for it mentally.
P. Diddy always supplied Cassie and the sex worker with copious amounts of drugs before and during the freak-offs. Cassie was given ecstasy, cocaine, GHB, ketamine, marijuana, and alcohol in excessive amounts during the freak-offs, which allowed her to disassociate during these horrific encounters. It became a commonplace to get IV fluids in the days after. It became commonplace to get IV fluids in the days after a freak-off to recover from the excessive substances pushed upon her.
You know what? I actually heard somebody talking about this in one of these videos where they're recounting a story with Pete. I forget who it was, but he was talking about how he got to a P. Diddy hotel room and he was like, look, we in there. They was doing this for days, according to this guy. And he was like, he saw P. Diddy come out with a doggone, holding the thing like they do in the hospital, rolling with the IV fluids. And the guy was like, the hell is going on in that room? But yeah, so this was probably around the time that he was enacting all of this onto Cassie. So see, it's like they don't get with these young girls to treat them right. They don't get with them to do them well. They get with them to harm them. They get with them because they have a person who doesn't know better. They get with them to have easy access to a person who can't put up a fight. This is crazy.
Tranquilizer, great drug. Okay. So ketamine is a tranquilizer, and I guess the other one, the GHB, is like a date rape. Wow. Cassie was required to dress up in lingerie for a freak off, and P. Diddy insisted that she wear white nail polish to contrast her nails with the skin of the black men hired to have sex with her. During the freak-offs, P. Diddy would instruct Cassie to pour excessive amounts of oil on herself.
Which means that there wasn't protection used, because baby oil, that the mineral oil that's used in baby oil deteriorates latex. Come on.
P. Diddy would then instruct Cassie and the sex workers to speak to each other and would specifically tell Cassie where to touch the sex workers. P. Diddy would say things like, grab that big black dick, oh my God, and ask her, how does it feel? As he directed her to perform for him. Jesus.
Listen, there's 1,000 people here on YouTube, and Facebook has dropped down to 55, which is all right. Go ahead and thumbs up the video, like, share on Instagram, WhatsApp, share on your text message, send an email to somebody so that they can hear this for themselves. This is ridiculous. So that you can be first to know and see all of the information in plain sight.
Oh, wow. During the freak offs, in addition to directing.
And you know what? So listen, there's nothing wrong with voyeurism. There's nothing wrong with a couple playing consensually with other people. The problem with this is that these were not her idea. She was not telling him that this is what she wanted to do. He didn't get feedback from her. She was in this power dynamic relationship where, listen, if a person can't say no, then they cannot say yes. When I was living in my car, there were many men who were trying to get with me. One guy wanted me to live with him so I could get out of my car and all this other stuff. And I had to tell him, I said, listen, if I don't have the ability to say no, then I don't have the ability to say yes. If you understand what I'm saying, put up the number 5. Because if a person cannot say no, then they cannot say yes, because their yes does not mean anything, because their yes is not the opposite of a no. Their yes is the only answer that they can give. So when I was living in my car, I stayed just living in my car rather than getting into situations in which I didn't have the ability to consent. Because if I can't say no, then I cannot consent. So if you understand what that statement means, then let me know. Put up that number 5.
Cassie and masturbating, P. Diddy would use his phone, his laptop, and his tablet to film Cassie having sex with the hired sex worker. He treated the forced encounter as a personal project, adjusting the candles he used for lighting to frame the videos. If this does not sound like the shit that Robert was doing, I don't know what does. This is the exact shit that R. Kelly was doing. Oh, this is crazy. While Cassie quickly deleted any photographs or video of sex acts if they were taken on her phone, P. Diddy repeatedly made it clear that he retained many videos of Cassie during the freak offs. Even when she deleted the videos, P. Diddy would tell Cassie that he was able to recover deleted videos from her devices. On one occasion, he sat next to her on a flight and made her watch a video she thought she had deleted, reinforcing her inability to escape and the immense power that he held over her.
Wow, probably had an iPhone. It's probably on the cloud.
P. Diddy would pay the male sex workers a few $1,000s in cash for their services. During some of the freak offs, P. Diddy would become extremely intoxicated and would hit Cassie in front of the male prostitutes. Cassie was repulsed by P. Diddy's demands, but between the physical beatings and the recognizing his incredible power and incredible temper, Cassie became petrified of her partner and boss and felt that she couldn't say no.
Can we just talk about that?
He even would present her with lavish gifts prior to or in the middle of the freak off, seemingly acknowledging the ways in which those 4 sexual encounters constituted as work for Cassie, and that he needed to compensate her in one way, shape, or form for this work. And at one point, he had given her so many designer bracelets for the freak offs, and immediately following his brutal beatings, that she felt that she was shackled by his presence. Frequently, her anxiety before freak offs would become so great that she would become physically ill, sometimes to the point of vomiting. While kneeling over the toilet, P. Diddy would shame her into performing for him, eventually forcing her to get up and proceed with the encounter. Wow. She knew firsthand that telling P. Diddy that she didn't want to engage in the freak offs was met with anger and violence. In addition, any suggestion that Cassie would refuse a freak off or otherwise report P. Diddy's abuse was met with ultimatums by P. Diddy, who would say that Cassie could not go to the police because she had a, quote, lot to lose. Around August of 2015, we're getting closer to 2016. Around August of 2015, for example, the middle of the surprise birthday party In the middle of Cassie's surprise 29th birthday party, P. Diddy insisted that Cassie leave the party and go to a hotel for a freak off. When she expressed that she didn't want to go, P. Diddy had Cassie cornered by his security staff in order to force her to leave with him.
Damn.
Wow. After this freak off, P. Diddy and Cassie went back to the hotel room that Cassie was staying in, where some of Cassie's friends were already hanging out, and P. Diddy was severely intoxicated. And at one point during the night, he picked up one of Cassie's friends like a child and dangled her over the balcony of the 17th floor of the hotel suite. Oh my God.
Wow.
Dangled her off of the 17th floor? Cassie and her friends were scared by P. Diddy's erratic behavior, but Cassie was heavily sedated because of the drugs she took to participate in the freak-off and therefore was unable to respond to the terrifying behavior. The freak-offs became work for Cassie, and despite her not wanting to do so, P. Diddy insisted that these intricately staged forced sexual encounters between Cassie and various male sex workers continue. This is low-key, it's unbelievable, but it is believable. I mean, I don't want to say it's unbelievable. It's shocking. It's shocking is what it is. Thank you so much, Journey, for the $5 super chat. I do appreciate it. Vlad revealed a couple months ago that R. Kelly wanted to reveal other celebs in an interview, but Vlad turned the interview down. R. Kelly was trying to snitch. Oh, Vlad know what it is. He doesn't want to disappear.
Wait, what? What are we reading? What are we reading right now? Oh, she's reading the super chat. Okay.
Doesn't want to disappear. Interesting. Also, shout out to Karen J for rejoining the membership, and shout out to Tracy for rejoining the membership. I appreciate y'all's support so much. We will be backstage later on today. All right, let's continue with this paperwork. Okay, so Cassie tries to escape P. Diddy's abuse. Anytime she tried to create distance between herself and P. Diddy, he used networks to find her and convince her to return to his abuse. On multiple occasions, P. Diddy sent his employees to lure Cassie back. In 2011, during a rough patch in P. Diddy and Cassie's relationship, Cassie had a brief relationship with musician Kid Cudi. Now we get into the stuff. When P. Diddy returned from a trip, he demanded another freak off of Cassie and she, okay? During this freak off, P. Diddy found Cassie's phone and found emails between her and Kid Cudi, and P. Diddy became enraged and proceeded to place a manual corkscrew between his fingers. Whoa, and lunged at Cassie. Oh, I know exactly what that looks like.
Oh, wait, you're talking about the corkscrew to take the wine bottle out? Oh my gosh.
It's dangerous. A corkscrew can kill somebody. A manual one anyway. Cassie ran away to stay at Kid Cudi's house to escape P. Diddy's wrath. And soon thereafter, one of P. Diddy's staff members told Cassie that he needed to just talk to P. Diddy, even though P. Diddy was enraged. Feeling like she couldn't escape P. Diddy and his network of enforcers, Cassie returned to P. Diddy. He hit her several times and then kicked her in the back as she tried to run out of the door. She went to her parents' home in Connecticut, where her mother took pictures of the bruises that P. Diddy had left on her body. In February of 2012, during Paris Fashion Week, P. Diddy told Cassie that he was going to blow up Kid Cudi's car and that he wanted to ensure that Kid Cudi was home with his friends when it happened. Around that time, Kid Cudi's car exploded in his driveway. If you don't remember me telling you earlier, if you're late getting here and haven't hit the thumbs up button or subscribe, make sure you do so. But I was telling you earlier, Kid Cudi did come out and substantiate these claims. He confirmed that his vehicle was in fact blown up in his driveway while his friends were in the driveway within a week's span of when Diddy had threatened to blow his car up. So whether he did it directly or not, or whether he sent somebody over there to do it, he made good on that promise that he was going to blow up Kid Cudi's car. And shout out to Kid Cudi for actually speaking up and confirming this. Whew. Cassie was terrified. She began to fully comprehend what P. Diddy was both willing and able to do to those he believed had slighted him. In 2015, Cassie spoke to a popular music manager at an after party in a hotel suite in Las Vegas. P. Diddy saw her speaking to this manager and sternly told her to step into the bedroom adjoining the suite. In the bedroom, P. Diddy beat Cassie severely. She ran from corner to corner of the room, trying to avoid P. Diddy's beating and kicking. When she tried to lock herself in the bathroom, he pushed through and punched and kicked her while she curled up under the toilet. Her screams were drowned out by the loud music playing in the outside area of the hotel suite. When P. Diddy's head of security and assistant saw Cassie after the assault, they began to cry. What you crying for? If you ain't helping, don't cry. Shit, keep your tears to yourself unless you're willing to do something to help me get out of this. Cassie had 2 black eyes, a burst and bruised lip, and a huge welt on her forehead.
See, they don't care about your beauty. They don't care about your femininity. They look at how he messed up this girl's face, allegedly. And many women who have gone through this. They don't care that you're weaker. 2 black eye, a burst lip. Who would want to do that to another person? Like, these people are sick. Listen, their rejection is your protection.
Upon seeing the result of his vicious attack, P. Diddy immediately took steps to conceal his wrongdoing. He forced Cassie to stay at his home along with one of his sons. I wonder which son that was. While there, P. Diddy FaceTimed Cassie and stated, "You got to go up and put on more makeup so my son can't see you like this. My son can't see you like that." She did put makeup on per P. Diddy's demands, and she felt that she had no choice but to obey her abuser, even though security guards, assistants, and friends saw the situation that she was in, and no one dared to help her or speak up on her behalf. She therefore had no choice but to remain subservient. Later in 2015, while shooting a movie in Cape Town, South Africa, Cassie began a flirtatious relationship with an actor. She spent New Year's Eve with this actor, but P. Diddy soon found out, and P. Diddy called the actor and threatened him. The actor proceeded to call Cassie and tell her, "You really need to call P. Diddy." In or around March of 2016, during a freak-off at a hotel in Los Angeles, P. Diddy became extremely intoxicated and punched Cassie in the face, giving her a black eye. Lord have mercy.
Girl, listen, this man would have been done dead. Ain't no cast iron frying pan near here. Especially if he's so intoxicated. This is the time that you practice your what do you call those swings in tennis? What is that swing called? This is the time that you practice that with a damn cast iron pan.
He fell asleep. Cassie tried to leave the hotel room, but as she exited, P. Diddy woke up and began screaming at her. He followed her into the hallway of the hotel while yelling at her. He grabbed her, then took glass vases in the hallway and threw them at her, causing glass to crash around them as she ran to the elevator to escape. She managed to get into the elevator, and when she got to the lobby, quickly took a cab to her apartment. Upon realizing that running away would cause P. Diddy to be even angrier with her and completely stuck in his vicious cycle of abuse, Cassie returned to the hotel with the intent of apologizing for running away from her abuser. When she returned, hotel security staff urged her to get back into the cab and to go to her apartment, suggesting that they had seen security footage showing P. Diddy beating Cassie and throwing glass at her in the hotel hallway. Upon information and belief that P. Diddy paid.
So there's video evidence out there then. This is what we're saying. So all of this is going to come out. What happens in the dark comes into the light. Is it called the backhand? Well, whatever it is, a cast iron pan needed to come and crash his jaw. That's what needed to happen.
Damn. $50,000 for the hallway security footage for that evening.
Oh,
wow.
The footage was bought.
Wow,
Damn.
wow. I mean, thank you so much, Tony, for the $10 super chat. I do appreciate it. This is sick. After this, Cassie left her home and went to hide away at a friend's house in Florida. James Cruz, president of Bad Boy Management, tracked Cassie down and told her that her single would not be released if she didn't answer P. Diddy's phone calls.
Forget the single.
A woman who worked
at
Sony Music reached out to her with a similar ultimatum concerning her record. Incredibly, P. Diddy even convinced one of the attorneys to call Cassie at this time. And this lawyer told Cassie that it's in your best interest to call P. Diddy back. Each time Cassie tried to run away, P. Diddy and his powerful network would force her back to him. P. Diddy's tight hold over her life had irreparably damaged her friendships. And around 2018, when she was with her friend Carrie Morgan in her house, P. Diddy used his key to her house and came in unannounced. He and Miss Morgan had an altercation. During which P. Diddy threw a hanger at Miss Morgan. Upon information and belief, the incident resulted in a settlement between P. Diddy and Miss Morgan, and Cassie ended up paying Miss Morgan additional funds in an attempt to resolve the dispute between her close friend and her abusive and controlling.
So now the abuse is now falling around onto other people. So we have Carrie Morgan and P. Diddy. Let's search for this. Carrie Morgan and Sean Combs. COMBS. Let me see what's going on here. Ooh, Woo, shooty. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. United States District Court of Southern. Let's take a look at this. Oh, this is inside of her thing. Okay. Wow. Oh, wow. Okay. So these are official court documents. Let's see. Wow. Woo-wee. Okay. So it is out there. It is out there. Woo-wee. All right. Let's see.
Controlling boyfriend. Ain't that something? She's got to pay for his abuse to her friend, not just him. This is diabolical. The relationship between Cassie and Miss Morgan has been strained since this time.
Of course. You bring
Seeing
this
the extreme
crazy-ass
measures that
N-word
P. Diddy
around
took
here?
to keep a tight hold on Cassie and isolate her from her support network, and having experienced the repercussions of rejecting his demands, Cassie felt that saying no to P. Diddy would cost her something: her family, her friends, her career, or maybe even her life. P. Diddy, oh Lord, it gets worse.
How could it possibly get worse?
Rapes Cassie. 2017 and 2018, Cassie became desperate to leave P. Diddy and his abuse of her. She recognized that if she stayed with him, she would never be able to have a successful career ever, or be physically and mentally safe. She therefore became determined to completely break away from P. Diddy and his cycle of abuse, and made concerted efforts to avoid him. In September, so this sounds like, now, I'm not sure if this was taking place in California or New York. Remember, we were going over the Adult Survivors Act, and we were going over the statute of limitations. The criminal statute of limitations in New York is 7 years, which would take us back to 2016. What she's outlining is 2017 and 2018. Sounds like it's within the statute of limitations to me, but let's keep reading. In September of 2018, she joined P. Diddy for dinner at an Italian restaurant in Malibu, California. Okay, California. For what she believed. Oh, so she does have a criminal case in California. For what she believed would be a discussion about concluding their relationship for good. After dinner, P. Diddy and Cassie returned to her home, which was paid for by P. Diddy. P. Diddy forced himself into her apartment and tried to kiss her. She told him to stop and attempted to push him away. P. Diddy then forcibly pulled off her clothing and unbuckled his belt and proceeded to rape her, while she repeatedly said no and tried to push him away. Soon thereafter, Cassie took steps to completely separate herself from her long-time abuser, including by leaving the home that he paid for and returning the car he purchased for her. Despite moving away, Cassie's address was posted online in early 2019, leading to fears for her safety. Cassie, who was under immense duress during the months after P. Diddy raped her, took all the steps possible to entirely remove herself from her abuser's ambit, including by entering into contracts to end her record deal with Bad Boy Entertainment. So now we're getting into the portion where P. Diddy's sexual and physical abuse of Cassie has caused her lifelong harm. Ooh. This is sick. This is sick. This is a lot to go through, especially early in the morning. Do me a favor, just hit the thumbs up button. There's about 500.
Listen, we not dealing with misogynistic abuse here this morning. We had to kick someone off. Now they at the block party eating the burnt wrinkle hot dogs, the charred hot dogs that are left over, the ones that had fell into the ashes of the grill. So you stay there and do that. Stay there. Yeah, we're not dealing with misogynistic abuse this morning. So, Listen, the code is on the screen to send a Cash Apple through on the broadcast. We got about 10 more minutes in on this. Let's see how much. Oh, it's 20 more minutes. Man, we've gone most of the way through. There's 1,200 people on YouTube. There's 60 people on Facebook, and we got our one Twitchy. Hey, Twitch. So listen, right now we are reading the court documents from the P. Diddy situation where Cassie is suing him for $30 million for sex trafficking, abuse, violence oh my gosh, so many different things that are going on here. And there's apparently footage that is out there. P. Diddy came out and made some statements, I believe, after this. So we'll
100
hear
people
what's
here. We
going
got
on.
257 likes. Just hit the thumbs up button, okay? Cash apps are not required. They are appreciated, not required. But just pay your fare on my bus by hitting the thumbs up button. Let's continue with this paperwork. As a result of the immense trauma that Cassie endured over a decade with P. Diddy, she has suffered and continues to suffer from immense emotional distress.
I bet.
Following her escape from the cycle of abuse and sex trafficking that she endured, she struggled with the physical and mental manifestations of her trauma. The birth of her 2 children, however, allowed her a new lease on life and gave her purpose. She credits her children with saving her from the trauma that had consumed her for over a decade of her life. Except for the months when she was pregnant with her children, Cassie struggled with her addictions to drugs and alcohol, addictions that were established and fueled by P. Diddy. She turned to substances to drown out the memories of her abuse. Without being intoxicated, she suffered from horrific nightmares of the forced sexual acts that P. Diddy demanded she participate in during the regularly scheduled freak-offs and the physical beatings that she endured throughout her relationship. She had difficulty eating and sleeping, and her relationships with her family suffered. During this time, she frequently had thoughts of ending her life. To rebuild her life and her career, Cassie needed to completely reinvent herself. She checked herself into an inpatient treatment at a rehabilitation center where she first confronted the extent of the trauma she lives with. She has required intensive therapy and other medical care to recover from P. Diddy's abuse, and she will forever live with the physical and psychological repercussions of the over a decade of violence, fear, and exploitation that she endured. Although Cassie was unable to speak up against the years of abuse she endured at the hands of P. Diddy, she has since been able to rebuild her life and confront her trauma. Thanks to the passage of the New York's Adult Survivors Act and California's Sexual Abuse Accountability and Cover-Up Act, she is now able and ready to confront her abuser and to hold him accountable and those who enabled his abuse for their actions. Good for her. Good for her. This sounds crazy, okay? It just sounds completely unbearable. Thank you, Rosalind, and thank you, McCutcheon, for the Cash App. I do appreciate that. Okay. First cause of action. Okay, some of this stuff seems a little repetitive. Plaintiff repeats and realleges each and every allegation in all of the preceding paragraphs. Sean Combs participated in sex trafficking of Cassie by requiring her to engage in forced sexual acts in multiple jurisdictions, and all of the defendants benefited from P. Diddy's venture by holding Cassie, an artist signed with Bad Boy Records and otherwise employed by him. The defendant corporations have financially and otherwise benefited as a result of these acts and omissions by keeping P. Diddy, the volatile and explosive owner of said businesses. They benefited from facilitating his behavior to the extent it kept the music mogul happy and kept Cassie obedient to P. Diddy and his corporation and businesses' interests. He formed a venture, it's just mumbo jumbo. As a direct and proximate result of the defendant's unlawful conduct as alleged here and above, the plaintiff has suffered physical injury and severe emotional distress and anxiety, humiliation, embarrassment, post-traumatic.
And the thing about it is that if she saw a therapist, the therapist took notes, and so it's on the record.
Stress disorder, economic harm, and other consequential damages. Plaintiff also seeks reasonable attorney's fees as provided under U.S. Code 1595A.
Pay it.
The second cause of action, violation of the New York Services for Victims of Human Trafficking. Okay, we already read through this in the beginning. This is kind of repetitive from the beginning. Let's see. As a direct and proximate result of his conduct, she suffered physical injury, emotional distress. Okay, repetitive. California realleges. This stuff is also pretty redundant as well. Fourth cause of action, sexual battery. Repeats and realleges. In performing the conduct described above, the defendant, P. Diddy.
Did 50 Cent talk about this? Wabba Funk, send me a video of 50 Cent talking about this. Go to TonyaTKO.com, click on contact, and then send me the link, please, because I haven't heard of that.
Committed battery against Cassie because he intentionally engaged in unlawful, intentional, and offensive touching and application of force onto Cassie's person. Actions amount to violations under New York penal law, as well as California law and the common law of New York and California. As a result of P. Diddy's conduct, she suffered injury, damages, malicious. The conduct of P. Diddy described was willful, malicious, At all relevant times, P. Diddy acted with conscious disregard of Cassie's rights and feelings, acted with the knowledge, reckless disregard for the fact that his conduct was certain to cause injury or humiliation, fear, physical injury or pain, recover punitive and exemplary damages from P. Diddy according to proof at trial. $30 million and lawyers' fees. Fifth cause of action, sexual assault pursuant to California's. Okay. Stuff is kind of redundant.
All right.
too.
It seems like we got through most of it. So
Seventh cause of action, baby. They're going to get him. If they can connect some of these crimes with other crimes, he could get a RICO if all these people enabled him around him. Think about it. That's how Robert went down. That's exactly how R. Kelly went down. Sexual harassment, hostile work environment, okay? Gender including but not limited to. Subjecting Cassie to discriminatory treatment based on her gender, including but not limited to subjecting her to sexual assault and or harassment, rape in a hostile work environment. Damages. Eighth cause of action, gender discrimination. Okay, prayer for relief. Wherefore, the plaintiff, Cassie, prays judgment to be entered in her favor against defendants, and each of them follows. Okay, for money judgment representing for him to compensate for damages, including consequential damages, lost wages, earning, and all other sums of money, together with interest on these amounts, according to the proof. For money judgment for mental pain and anguish, severe emotional distress, according to proof. For punitive and exemplary damages, according to proof. Attorney's fees, pre-judgment and post-judgment interest for such and other further relief as the court may deem just and proper. Baby. Oh my. If that wasn't something.
Wow. Thank you for that. Jane, thank you. You did the Lord's work.
People in the chat is saying Quincy or Justin might start talking. I really hope
you
that
did the Lord's work today. So check out her video. The link is in the description. Throw up your pancakes. Oh my gosh. What are your thoughts about all of this? After this, I feel fatigued. I was getting ready to go work out. After this, I just need to lay my head down on a pillow and just meditate and just release this off of my spirit and my being. What is the self-love lesson here for us in this situation, right? Cassie has the attorney that took down Harvey Weinstein. Oh, okay. P. Diddy is done. He's done. And if he has done all of this stuff, then he deserves exactly what is coming to him. This is terrible. Wow. And so look, I'll say this. This is her Cash App at the bottom of the screen. Send her some love. It is the plaintiff Jane.
You either want to lie under oath or you know.
Right there.
Who knows, right?
Take a picture of it. But yes, because, oh my goodness. Yeah, take a picture. Send her a little something to just thank her for this amazing reporting and reading through those 35 pages. So that we did not have to. You saved my throat and voice. I'm going to send you a little something on Cash App myself, my girl, because that right there was a lot. So thank you for participating in that. I can't believe, I can't believe, I can't believe how monstrous some people can be. I do believe how monstrous some people can be. It's just hard to come to the realization that there's some people out there who are just tremendously sick. They don't care about you and what you want or what you're going through or what you need or what's best for you. They're not coming to you because they're offering you something great and amazing. They're coming to you because they know about their predations and their predilections, and they want to enact that upon you. Those aphids didn't go to my kale because they wanted what was in the best interest of my kale. Those aphids didn't even care about me. The aphids came and they overtook my kale, and they have come and they have attacked my broccoli now at this point. And I've tried spraying them off with neem oil, but these aphids seem to be immune. So they don't care. They want what they want, and they will take you down. They will siphon from you. They will K-word you in the process. They don't care about you. They don't care. Just like those aphids, the broccoli and the doggone kale is a means to an end. Like if I showed you pictures of what these aphids look like I stopped taking pictures of them because they just look so disgusting. I wonder if I can find an old picture of it so that you could see what it is that I had to deal with here in my garden, right? Here, let me scroll. I'm telling you, the pictures were grotesque. And when I saw it, I almost cried for my kale because I was like, my kale didn't deserve this. My kale didn't deserve this. I'm scrolling through looking for the pictures now. This is like my kale was doing so well. And then here came these damn aphids. They came a little at once. And this is what I'm saying. It happened slowly. And then the next thing you know, you're overtaken. Oh, here. I'll show you. Take a look. So this looks like an ordinary kale leaf, doesn't it? Until you zoom in and you see this nastiness, this infestation. And that's when things were good. It's gotten much worse since then. It got to the point that I just had to be like, all right, well, you all are going to have the kale just grow on there. And then I'm going to burn your ass. I'm going to burn them. I'm going to put them on the flames and kill them all, right? Oh, my goodness. I hear some apples that have come in, so let me grab those real quick. All right. Arlene sends $20 and says, many clowned her for leaving him. They clowned her for leaving him? You see what I'm saying? People on the outside don't know what's going on the inside. Prayers and healing for her. Absolutely. Lisa sends $1 and says, which vid does he say with the white women? I'll get it. What? Who said that? P. Diddy said, where the white women at? I thought that was a joke from a movie. But if he said it, by all means, send it to me. Send it to me. Let me see. So self-love lessons that you all have. Oh, let me check the PayPal real quick. Self-love lessons. I'm gonna take a picture of the kale, how it looks now, because they really. Next year I'm getting a cloth to cover over the entire thing. I'm getting some wires and cloth to cover over because this is not gonna happen to me again next year. You know, get me once, shame on me. Get me twice. No, get me once, shame on you. Get me twice, shame. You ain't gonna get me next year, aphids. You ain't gonna get me. But let me check the PayPal real quick. And then we shall get into the self-love lessons. And I'm gonna get out of here and I'm gonna lay down. Because after all of this, I gotta repair myself mentally. So nobody sent anything on the PayPal. So this is where we're at. We're at the self-love lesson of the broadcast now. Yeah, this is how they treat their so-called preferences. This is what they have in store for young ladies. They don't have nothing good in mind for you. We ain't missing out on nothing. Let them go. These passport bros, they ain't offering nothing amazing. They're offering some stuff that they know that they can't get away with in America. I showed you videos of the man's, just search for Tonya TKO and Passport Bros. I've shown you. So listen, let's see. Self-love lesson. I will take inventory of how I am and have been treated to make sure I am catching any red flags. Exactly. Jess sends through a Cash App and says, Tonya, please stop them from putting innocent people. You have to send the next message because that's only half of the message. My thoughts and needs matter first and foremost. Yes, absolutely. SLL, let's type these self-love lessons. Let's see them on the screen because that's why we're here. We're here for the self-love lessons. There is no preference. It's just who is easiest to gain access to. No, there is a preference. Let's not fool yourself, Aqua. There is a preference. They have a preference for people who have a phenotype that most aligns with the oppressor. So, self-love lesson. I love myself enough to see the early signs of abuse and get out. Yes, he was nominated with Kevin Samuels, could see through the ritual. They both hate women. I'm capable of loving myself and leaving if toxicity comes into. All right. So I want the self-love lessons is for the lessons that you learned about loving yourself. We don't type what we don't want. We type what we do want. So if there's somebody that you want to quote unquote stay away from, instead of typing your self-love lesson is to stay away, type who it is that you're going towards. Because listen, I'm going to tell you, there are far too many of you out there who are watching content about people that you say you don't want. If you don't want them, why are you watching content about them? Tap into your self-love lesson for what it is that you do want. And let me see these here. It's never too late to let your voice or strength or courage. Yes, listen, I'm encouraging you all. If there's something that happened to you, file your police report. I told you there's a situation going on in my family right now. Don't wait until someone is old and feeble to try to enact a revenge on them, because now you're the assailant. Get them while they're in their prime. File that police report now. Let it get on the record. They may not ever go to prison, but at least the police report will be on the record. Listen, have the strength and bravery to step up and stand up for yourself. My scar is a badge of survival. I am proud of escaping abuse. Appreciate my life. Go on the journey, even if I want them to go with you. You have to type it from the I point of view. I trust my intuition to protect me. Remember, being alone is a chance to understand what I want in my life. Let's not talk about what we don't want. Let's take the word not. If you see yourself typing don't, never, or not in your self-love lesson, see about how you can shift that into what it is that you do want. Let's concentrate on what we want. So come on, let's shift these self-love lessons into what we want. Listening to my intuition and recognizing the power of my voice. I will report physical abuse. I have the courage to advocate for myself. Yes, let's keep talking about, yes, let's talk about what we want. Yes. My self-love lesson from this is about recognizing, that there are certain patterns of people who mean me good. Recognizing when people have something good in store for me, and how certain people's going into another area is what has saved and helped me. I will always stand up for my people. Okay? Let's talk about it. So listen, on that note, I appreciate you continue to write your self-love lessons. My lesson about loving myself more comes in the form of just acknowledging and accepting that, Jess Breezy finished up her thing and said, they put in time out, but no message was bad. Oh, you got put in time out? Oh, Jess says she was an innocent person put in time out. Oh, you know what? Sometimes admins, please, err on the side of what's the word? I can't think of the word. But give leeway. Make sure that the people that we're clicking on are people that we're meaning to click on, okay? Because I don't want innocent people getting put into timeout. I want people to have their voice. And I only want us to put trolls in timeout, like people who are coming in say N-word, 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 or stuff like that. So we'll talk about that behind the scenes. But thank you for bringing that to my attention. I definitely want us to be more liberal, because people do have, I want people to be able to comment. I want people to be able to disagree. It's only the people who are explicit trolls that I want to go into timeout. So my self-love lesson is about recognizing that there are no. See, I'm catching myself about saying no or not, or there are no. Let me switch it. And my self-love lesson is about the right doors opening for me at the right time. Like, many people will be like, oh, why are you single? Why is this? Why is that? The right door meant for me will open at the just right time. What I can do is prepare myself and make sure that I am ready for when that door opens. They say luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So I appreciate you all for coming out. Thank you, Jane, for doing the Lord's work today. Thank you for continuing to stand up. Thank you for all of you who have come out. There were 1,100 people, almost 1,200 people on the broadcast at its peak. We're winding down now. But speaking of wind, let's get up and wind our hips. Let's do that. Let's do that as we're getting out of here. Get up out of your seat and move. So listen, abuse doesn't have a face. Of course, black women are the most abused. Come on. Black women, our esteem as a collective is in the toilet. So don't think that a Negroid black woman is going to fare better. No, unfortunately, the self-esteem is even worse because she has never been amplified. Her voice has never been edified. And so she goes into these situations lucky that somebody is paying her some attention. So let's not glorify, because in our community, listen, we are the #1 most abused. So let's not act like, oh, having Negroid features makes you immune. No, as a matter of fact, you are, especially in our society, even more prone to it. So come on, let's get up and move these hips. Come on, let's move. Listen. I appreciate each and every one of you for coming out. I will see you all in the next video. Tonya TKO, and I am out. Go out there and love one another. Most importantly, love yourself. Yeah.